dish. You're a man. Most name brand bars and body washes you
All right, welcome guys. Welcome to week 7 of the EGL League of Legends team, or league, not team. This is our first week back. We had 2 weeks off, nice little break.
Yes.
A little bit of shuffling of rosters. I'm Corey, back again this week, and here was Simeon again, and we're really excited for this week's matchup. We actually have Fire Nation undefeated versus THE, the defeated so far. But THE made some roster changes, so we're gonna have new mid laner Padawantano, the old sub for EGL coming in, and then Alex is going to be playing in the top lane. Really good player. He's going to be the new highest ranked solo queue player. So that's a huge addition, and hopefully we can see THE use that 2-week break to their advantage to kind of get some synergy, and hopefully are all on the same page with a little bit of shuffling. And it's totally doable. I know I've been talking to them. They've been scrimming, playing at least games together, and that's the biggest thing. So hopefully we see good chemistry, and I'm really interested to see the champion pools come in, because everyone's been saying that Singe is getting banned in some of these scrims against THE, so maybe he'll slide through and we'll get some exciting gameplay.
You might get lucky and see something interesting. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm hoping. So, and then on the other side, we have Fire Nation. Haven't dropped the game yet. Looked very clean in their last performance. We saw them play their traditional late game scaling, and then they actually in game 2 played an early game comp,
and that was really exciting.
And they played it really clean. And that was the first time we had seen them on the early game side. They always used to, or traditionally had been falling back, playing around dragons, playing a little bit safer, but we got to see them push their advantage and really play a different style. So being able to be flexible, have those different options really is important.
That means I got lucky to see that difference in their play style.
Yeah.
Because you guys have seen them play for the last, what?
Couple of games? Bunch of weeks. And going to 40 minutes is fun, but... systematic league is not as exciting
like to
as
see some quick games.
Yeah, we like to see a little action early game. So hopefully the picks that are good this patch, we are kind of just bouncing back.
Yes.
We got Wukong. The reworked Wukong is really popping up in pro play.
The Karthus changes.
Karthus jungle is very good. Even in bot lane, sometimes those mages go down, and you can see the power of the AP bot laners, because then it opens up champion pools for mid lane and jungle each. So Senna's coming back into flavor. We saw Senna Wukong actually played by Cloud9 yesterday, and it was really interesting because Wukong gets the farm in bot lane, and then Senna does the late game scaling, and she's the kind of like the siege But she doesn't need farm.
Right.
She gets her passive, gives her free stats.
Yep.
She scales really well with low econ, so you kind of get an extra carry, which is really cool.
She does so much damage late game too.
She does a lot of damage with like 20 CS. You see her hit you, and you're like, oh my, what just came out? But and then Volibear has been a powerhouse in pro play around the world. Top jungle, little bit support.
Yep.
He does a lot of damage. He gets a lot of health.
He's strong.
He's very strong, and his sustain is kind of. It did get touched, but it
was more of a jungle nerf than anything. Played him a couple times. He helped me get to gold 3 in the last 2 weeks. But yeah, his sustain isn't as much as it used to be in there anymore.
Yeah, and that's a big thing. He's still a very good jungler. I like to compare him to something like a set jungle where it's not like the traditional, but he brings so much to the team comps where he can kind of fill those holes. And with really good coordination, he can turn off towers, and that is just something that is not usual, and people are still getting used to playing around it. So maybe keep your eyes out for that. TF is another pick that's really rose in popularity. I'm not sure if our mid laners have been playing it. TF as a champion gets extra gold with his passive, really affects the map and can allow for really cool 1-3-1 styles. And he's just kind of that mid laner that can cover some weaknesses in the side lane. Like if you do fall behind in top lane or bot lane, he can just be there and always be threatening it. And if you don't have vision of the Twisted Fate, you have to be safe because he could be porting in anywhere. So
yeah, Kabasa, is this just one game or is this a series? It's a series, best of 3s.
Yep,
so.
best of 3. So we hopefully are going to see 3 games today. I'm excited. We haven't seen a 3-game series in a few weeks.
Haven't.
So hopefully THE come in.
Fire Nation might be, just keep steamrolling even after the 2 weeks. So
yeah, they might be. I did see they were struggling in Clash yesterday. They dropped a few games, so hopefully that doesn't roll over in today. But we're just loading into Champ Select. In just a couple minutes here, we'll do coin flip as usual to pick side selection, and then we'll get right into Champ Select. So, and we see everyone kind of coming in. We are a little bit later this week, 7 p.m. start. Traditionally, we try to aim for a round 2. We're going to be trying to get that
back to the schedule.
Yeah, and we'll figure it out. And but we just roll with it, make it work. And me and Simeon didn't call each other this week in match. I know everyone was really excited last
our pink shirts last week
when we coordinated, but Fire Nation is 100% red side. Well, I'm not saying the coin flip is rigged. I don't think they've won a coin flip yet.
I don't think so either.
So hopefully, not that they're going to win this week. But we did see Cloud9 fall today in LCS. So does that mean that Fire Nation is going to fall today? Is that a precursor to what's going to happen in our league?
Metamorphically, it could happen.
Yeah, hey. That could be like a foreshadowing. That would be pretty neat. But in that game, we also saw them play the Wukong Senna bot lane, and that's something that I think is really cool. Senna is just such an interesting champion. She's very frustrating to play against because she does have super long range, but
I hate playing against Senna.
Yeah.
Senna is just one.
I do too.
It doesn't matter if you think she's immobile. It still hurts.
She slows you.
Yeah.
Everything like that. And I just like the fact that she enables the support to really take on a new role. And sometimes you'll see the support play the Senna and the AD carry play like the Bruiser. But stuff like that is really cool, and I like when other avenues are available for play where like you can have a double carry bot lane and it not be like a cheese Pantheon Jarvan kind of a thing, or Talia Pantheon. You did see that for a little bit, but then it's really cheesy. So I know LCK was obsessed
they're really
with
big on that.
Yeah, for
really
like a whole final series, they picked Pantheon Talia in the bot lane and ended up losing all 3 games.
Yes,
but that's not important. The other thing I'm really interested to see is the mid lane pool of Padawan Tano. I didn't get to see a whole lot. I know he was filling in for different roles, and he's kind of a player that's very flexible.
Yes.
So I'm interested to see if he can bring some variety to the mid lane and really spice things up and kind of be the glue to THE to really, as we see FN, they use their mid laner to influence other lanes, and it's been really successful. So if THE can kind of just steal a page out of their book and just maybe be better at it.
The last time I saw Padalantano play, he played a lot more. I think he played more control mages.
Okay.
He did really well in that lane, and he actually in those games he actually controlled the game a lot.
And
so that's going to be interesting to see in this game as well too, just because of what you just mentioned about Fire Nation. So I'd like to see who'd be able to out control each other in the map.
And with Alex being in the top lane. We know Fire Nation loves to play around the dragons, so keeping him available to move and affect those fights is going to be something really interesting. And I'm interested to see how their shot calling revolves, or if it changed. I'm not sure who their shot caller was before the roster changes, and if it's the same. But if that communication does change and they just really focus on objective play and beat Fire Nation around it, I'm really excited. I was telling Simeon before, I was super excited for this matchup, and there's no coin. Oh, no coin flip for the second
split.
That's my time to shine.
Oh, okay. Well, that would have been nice to know.
Yeah. So for the second half, okay, go reverse of first split. I see what you're saying. No problem. I even brought a quarter this week.
We were prepared.
No problem. I'll just flip it for fun later. So we have confirmed that
Fire Nation is red side.
Fire Nation is going to be red side. Oh, that's what they were saying.
Yes, 100%.
I see. So Fire Nation is going to be red side. So they're going to get counter pick, and that's going to be really important with Alex, as we can see, and we're in the pregame master tier right now. Getting a counter pick to the top lane might be something that Fire Nation looks to offset that a little bit.
Right.
Not that Bearson is something to scoff at. He actually currently has the highest KDA in the whole league. He's been playing really good. He's been playing a multitude of champions. He popped off on the Malphite game. He's been playing Ornn. He's been playing some of those bruisers. We saw him on Darius kind of go
crazy
nuts.
on that game.
Giving him counterpick might be what FN is looking at here to balance that out.
Okay.
And then, but traditionally, he hasn't been getting counterpick. He's been one of the first rotation, either pick 1, 2, or 3.
Right.
And they've been kind of using mid-bot flexes with something like a Corki and leaving those options open and kind of putting them on the island on the weak side. So interested to see if they switch that strategy. Traditionally, we've been kind of seeing junglers picked early, jungle support, 80 carries in the first round.
The norm.
That's the norm. But when you do have some new players coming in, that could all switch. Maybe someone really has a priority. We saw Party the Challenger really prioritize the Kassadin, and it ended up turning on them.
It did.
Because they got counterpicked. But sometimes if you're really confident on a champion and you've been practicing it and you want to pick it earlier, that opens up different avenues of counterpicks. And then the jungle is last patch and kind of this patch, our 80 carries pool was really small, and the jungle pool has kind of evolved that way too. We kind of have Trundle, Olaf, Jarvan, Lee Sin, and then there's like some fringe. Then you get Set, Volley, and they're kind of like the they're not really picked for their like jungle clear or
it's
their
utility.
It's their utility, and they kind of are the pick that brings everything back, or brings the team comp together. So first pick and first rotation jungle is very, very good, and Trundle has been played almost every pro game if you've been watching, just because he really counters like the Ornns, those, and he's very strong duelist. And then to counter that, you get the Graves, the Kindred, they counter Trundle. So you get a really cool dynamic where red side gets kind of the advantage because they can counter pick and then take another strong pick, and then on the other side you kind of just go that way. But if someone wants to prioritize a pick, so
we'll see what happens.
With us switching sides, I'm interested to see how the champ selects differ from the first matchup between these two teams.
I feel it would be a different game though from what you guys have said, because I haven't seen these two play against each other yet. So.
I think they played in either week 1, and it was a quick
game,
decisive game, but with new rosters, hopefully a little bit different. So 3 minutes, and we're going to be getting to the champ select here. And I see the mid laner for FN still Cog has no counter. So are we finally going to see this AP Cog we have heard about since week 1?
Right, but it
has been hyped.
Even in solo, I haven't seen a Cog mid laner.
I've seen it a little bit.
I've never seen a Cog mid laner.
I've actually seen 80 carry Cog.
Yes, I've seen that. Oh, okay. I haven't seen that one.
So I've been talking about it. People probably think I'm nuts because I'm like, yeah, AP Cog, Singed, and but it is very strong. Not saying that we'll see it, and we see it in the chat here where it's been getting played in scrims a little bit.
Okay, and, but you said that last time too.
I did say that,
and I still didn't get to see it yet.
Yeah, so all these scrim whispers we get fed are all.
I feel like these
turn out false.
I'm hoping these scrims don't turn into trolling games. You know, come on.
Yeah, it went 12-1 in a scrim, so. Yeah, Syndra does counter it. That's the thing. We've seen the power of Syndra in a lot of these games. Dude. She's kind of the champion where if she gets ahead, she just deletes someone. And that's a very good ability to have, just to one-shot someone. So we saw the Vayne pick in THE's last game, and they played into a fed Syndra, and it was not fun.
That was not fun.
So
no.
Cog is greater than Syndra. And I'm all for it. I'm a Cog mid believer, so... And yeah, we're just getting some confirmation. We're going to be starting in just a few minutes here. Let's see if we're just looking over the ranks of the players. No one's really climbed super high from the last time they played. So I was seeing if someone was just grinding. Yeah. I know they've been playing a lot of flex queue, so maybe not grinding the solo queue as much. The one thing is I'm really interested to see this top lane matchup. Bearson, like I kind of talked about before, was the MVP, or not the MVP, the highest KDA. And if he is going to be on a carry, is he going to go head-to-head into Alex, or is he going to kind of be put on tank duty?
If we go with just what it looks like right now, I feel like Bearson might be a little bit more passive just because it's a new top laner.
Yep.
Just to kind of play him out a little bit. Or, he might just
go at him
and then test out the skills from right there.
Yeah,
it really depends on the pick on what he does.
Yeah, they could look to attack Alex because he is one of the new members and kind of see that if that communication is there.
And plus, and that's the negative part. I guess I don't know how long they've been practicing for the past 2 weeks, but Alex is new coming into this. It's a new team. Got it,
and
team
a weak
synergy,
team,
right?
And it's been a weak team, so that's kind of a lot of pressure coming into a team that hasn't actually won a game, and then playing the first team that hasn't dropped a game. So that's a lot of pressure coming down. So if they maybe look to attack it and see how that goes.
Then his rank is master tier, but that also puts on other personal pressure.
Yeah, well, and everyone knows in the pregame lobby it shows what rank you are. And sometimes it's TFT, and everyone's like, wow, you're really good. And then you get in the game, and it's gold. And
so we're into the ban phase. Syndra gets first ban.
Yeah, kind of what we were talking about. The Syndra really put a damper on their last game. She got a little out of control, and she was just one-shotting people.
Yes.
And then we see Morgana as the counter to that. Morgana is Storyteller's best preferred support. Covers a lot of things. Covers CC. Black Shield is a great ability. And we see
Recursion criticizing PTC, it seems like.
Yeah. Hey, everyone has some things we can improve on, but every week we've been getting better and better. So, and we see Set
Olaf. And the Set. Okay.
So it's a little bit of the junglers.
Yeah.
If with the Olaf ban, I don't think Trundle's going to be coming through. Trundle is very good into Olaf, so if they were looking to first pick it, I don't see it getting banned here because if he uses a subjugate on the Olaf, he actually goes negative armor. So, and we see Nautilus coming in, so really aggressive support pick here for Storyteller. He's been kind of on the mages and the little bit of the peeling support. So, so we see him on aggressive. Maybe him and Legit Camel are looking to get on the offensive and really win that bot lane and use that to take over Dragon Control because Fire Nation has been so keen on playing around it. And we see Ezreal coming in here.
And Ezreal did get a slight nerf this patch, but I don't think it's going to hurt him a lot.
Yeah, a couple seconds on E. And hopefully you're not using your E recklessly where those 3 seconds come in, but his Arcane Shift is incredibly strong. And we do see Syndra banned, and they were kind of talking in Twitch chat that if Syndra is off the table,
that opens up.
Cog mid is very good. So maybe...
the Bard.
Yeah, Bard is
awesome.
I
was thinking that Leona was going to come through on this one.
Yeah, so Bard into Nautilus is interesting. If he doesn't get hooked, he can kind of just run away with the lane. And Bard is so strong, and we've been seeing him in different regions get picked. for his power of laning, and he doesn't even need to take
and
electrocute.
roaming.
Yeah, he is very strong in the roam, and his ultimate is an ability where it's game changing.
It is.
So sometimes you like ult your teammate and it's the worst thing ever, and sometimes you ult like 3 carries on the other team and just wipe them.
Yep.
It is just such a polarizing ultimate, and it's so interesting.
It is.
See,
I do a queue with my cousin, and he plays a lot of Bard recently, and that has helped a lot of our games. The ult, the stun, the roaming,
and like you
crazy.
said, you can get on the roam and we see.
Oh, the Sejuani comes through.
Yeah. So Soul Mason going to those tanks. And Olaf must be not a good matchup in a Sedge, because I assume Olaf just runs a Sedge over. So,
easily.
Sejuani pairs really good with melee solo laners, pops that passive faster so they can proc the stun. So look for top and mid to be something along those lines. I'm not sure what.
Oh, the Jarvan. Okay, so I remember a lot of us are talking that the Jarvan has always been banned almost every game.
Yeah.
Right?
Jarvan, Rek'Sai were kind of our historical 2 premier junglers.
So Jarvan actually comes through in this one. So this is interesting to see that.
Yeah, we could look to see Demon Ruler get on the aggro against the Sejuani. Sejuani is not really a early game power ganker. Her ganks are strong at like 3, but then like 3 to 6, she kind of has a lull in her power where she falls off. And we see the Nico ban here. That's actually very interesting.
Who's been playing Nico in scrims?
I would assume Padawantano is playing the Nico. I know for a while there, Nico actually was one of the champions on OP.GG that didn't have enough info to even have stats because she was really low pick, but she's kind of been coming back, and we see Darius banned here. You know what Darius counters, right?
No.
Singed.
Nah.
Yeah.
I've seen Singes beat Darius before, dude.
It is, but Bearson is a very...
the Singe gets banned! It gets banned.
So with the Darius ban, it was kind of alluding towards a Singed pick, but the Singed gets banned.
Hey, we at least get to see the Singed get picked, right?
Yeah, it hit champ select. That is true, and it wasn't just a hover. So I guess we'll be all right. But I'm interested to see what Alex is banning.
I want to see,
So if with the Darius ban, I'm assuming that he's going to look to duel in the top lane or play a champion that can go up and compete. So Azir hits the bans as well. Very good control mage, and Burn Victim has been playing it a lot. He looks really good on it. It's one of those late game insurance picks where he just scales and he just does so much damage over time. He's kind of like a pseudo 80 carry where it's just like such sustained damage. And if you don't pop him, he's going to just obliterate your whole team. Frontline, he kills frontline very good. He takes towers very good. And we see Orianna coming in.
That's a safe pick.
Yeah, very safe pick, and synergizes really well with the Jarvan here. So you get the Jarvan EQ Catalysm, and then throw the Ori ult right on top. So, and we see Poppy coming in here. Poppy probably going to the top lane. I know Poppy jungle has been kind of popping up. It's very good.
Well, we saw it that one game.
Yeah, we did.
My first commentating, I think we saw that one game, and that killed.
Yeah, it's very good. And Poppy's traditionally played into champions with a lot of gap closers because her W is so strong to kind of stop those.
Okay, so the Lux comes in for the mid.
So the team comp is... I really like the team comp for THE. They have really good initiation as long as the Kai'Sa and Lux don't get shut down.
Right.
If they do, they have no damage.
Right.
So, and then Maokai getting hovered. We're going to see a nice... Oh, switching it up. It probably will be a tank up here. We might have some tank versus tank.
They're going to need the front lane,
Yep, they need the front line, and it gives another ball carrier to the Orianna. So we do have 2 5v5 comps here. So we're probably going to see a lot of fighting, which is good. I'm all for team fights.
This is probably more of a mid game to late game comp.
Yeah, and the matchup I really think is going to decide a lot of the game is going to be mid lane. We kind of talked about.
That's where it looks like it's going to be.
If Lux can get to that point where she can push the wave and get on the move and kind of influence, she can really change those dragon fights. She has a really good ult. And then with the CC on THE, you can really set up those ults, and she can delete people. So if that gets out, it's kind of like Syndra, but she has more like...
a little bit more utility than the Syndra.
little more utility and like area of effect.
Area effect, yeah.
Syndra does have the stun, but she has the root, and then she can layer it on. So Nautilus lands the hook into the Lux snare.
Yeah.
She can just one-shot anyone on FN. And FN really doesn't have a lot of damage on their team comp either. So they have the Orianna, and Ezreal is really strong once he gets the Muramana change. But before that, their damage is pretty much Jarvan Orianna.
Yep.
So
yep.
It's a pretty close draft.
You're right. Both, yeah. I think it just depends on who's gonna execute their team a lot better than each other. Really, and so, what it comes down to.
And what we've seen is FN has been very clean. So if that continues, I really like the pick. Bard is something that can influence that mid lane.
You know, I feel when you bring that up, I feel like if the Bard is played well, I think the Bard
is going to be the difference maker.
It's going to be the difference maker.
I agree
because of the amount of roaming he does, the amount of help he can do for jungle, mid, and top lane.
Yeah,
the Bard's going to be a big difference maker in this whole game.
I'm interested to see Bard pair up with Jarvan and them just go look for the Sejuani early. Like Ezreal is a safe enough champion, even with the nerf to the E, the 3 seconds. If he doesn't put himself in danger and he just farms from safe distance and it uses that E efficiently, Bard is kind of free to go run havoc. Even if it's just going in and getting some vision so they can track the sedge and then set up plays to counter jungle or fight on the opposite side. So if Bard's able to get into the red side jungle, get a ward down and kind of track the pathing, that opens up Jarvan to gank top. And Jarvan does struggle to gank Poppy because he does want to go for the EQ. And Poppy she just pops she just pops it with her steadfast presence, and then he just walks away. So Maokai is different though because he goes untargetable when he does the root. So that's kind of not of an efficient use of the W, but I don't see them dying in a 1v1 scenario. So
I think Poppy does pull off more. If the one-on-one comes up, I think Poppy. I honestly call the Poppy 1v1ing the Maokai. I don't know why. I think I've seen it too many times. That's why.
Yeah, Poppy does a lot of damage.
That's what I'm saying. She does a lot of unnecessary damage with her kit.
Yeah, and we're getting kind of towards that League of Tanks style back. We see these tanks kind of getting more and more damage through items, through keystones, and it's kind of like, an Ornn can 1v1 any bruiser. That's scary. Ornn, he did get banned. I was going to say Ornn went all the way through. Ornn got banned second.
No.
Yeah, so how hyped this is.
THE needs this win or they are out of playoffs.
Yeah, it is really exciting, and we were talking about it. I'm really hyped for this matchup, so hopefully they come through and we get a good series. Because
I always root for the underdog.
Yeah, we like the underdog story here. Another thing I really want to highlight is how good FN's level 1 invades have been. They've been being very smart on getting an invade and getting some early vision. And not only just getting that vision and just letting it sit and like forgetting about it.
Yes.
They use it really efficiently where they actually play around the pathing of the junglers. So if they get a vision of where they start, you can kind of path out how the enemy jungler is going to play. And then say at 3 minutes top lane, the junglers in the area, you should probably play back, give up some CS, and we've seen other teams struggle with that. They get the information, and then they still die at level 3 or 3 minutes.
Or they lose track, like automatically forget about that. That's where their vision was, and they
and that's the whole point of the level 1 invade. If you are able to get that information safely, it's super useful. If you use it efficiently. If you get it and just be like, oh, cool, we see where they started, and then just forget. Sometimes it's even helpful to type it into chat. Red side start, and then you can kind of remind yourself with the pathing of where they're going to be, or just talk about it as a jungler. You always want to kind of be tracking the enemy jungler so you can not only keep your teammates safe, but also keep in mind, whereas if you could fight them at Crab or fight them at a buff and you're stronger, like the Jarvan is going to be stronger than the Sedge early in the 1v1. If they can get early vision like they have, and he can fight her at like level 2, I think he'll be able to kill her. So.
Oh, this is different. I think every game I've commentated, everyone has tried a level 1 invade.
Yeah, so we actually
see now it's actually a standoff.
Yeah, so we just see a 5-point safe invade. This might be FN being a little bit hesitant, and that's not something we expected. with how they've played, I think they should be confident here. And I see Burning is asking based off draft who wins. I think these drafts are very, very close. They both have 2 damage dealers and a lot of initiation, a lot of tanks. We're probably going to see a lot of front-to-back team fights.
I think so, too, yeah.
And the only difference is if Kai'Sa can get a really good ultimate into the backline, like paired with like a Lux R. Like if Lux can R the backline and Kai'Sa jumps in and can assassinate one of the backline members, I think that's going to be the win con. Whereas if that doesn't happen and Orianna is able to dodge the Lux, dodge some of the Lux control, I think they will chip away at him more. So it could be some explosive team fights, or it could be like some slow, systematic, real front-to-back classic team fights, which I'm always really interested in seeing because in those style team fights, it's very micro, movement are very important. And they can determine who actually comes out on top. One small click, like attacking the wrong champion once or twice, can be the whole difference in the team fight. And that's and we actually see Nautilus going in here, and that's very good to see. I want to see I want to see Nautilus try and abuse it because if they just let Bard sit here and throw autos at it, we see Bard did take the electrocute. A lot of people take like Guardian and stuff because Bard has so much built-in damage that he doesn't need it, but electrocute just makes it crazy. 2 for 2, and we actually see the flash burnt here by Ezreal. That's a huge cooldown at level 1 just to get that push in. And Ezreal is a unique AD carry, and actually Kai'Sa might go for the tier here, but we see them kind of caught out.
That was a good flash.
Good
early flash.
So Nautilus not waiting to get knocked up and then stunned. That's something that drives me nuts is when someone gets CC'd and then tries to flash and dies. Whereas you could have just flashed a CC and guaranteed your survival. And like we kind of saw, Poppy just pushing Maokai off.
Maokai's playing passive.
And he knows the junglers on the opposite side, kind of what we talked. So junglers on the opposite side, he's weak side. Maokai is going to scale. He's going to do his job no matter what.
Doesn't need to do much.
If he gives up a little bit of creeps, he's still going to get those items and be a big front line. So definitely like to see this play. The bot lane is really explosive. And we see Bard gets a stun, but Sejuani's in the back here. So maybe a little bit of a baiting here and seeing if they're going to commit. If Ezreal commits with the E, that's where that nerf to the E cooldown really comes in. And if he commits it, it's way harder for him to get out. And we see Kai'Sa with and this is the power of Bard.
Close.
And the Bard is so cool because you can kind of play like, I'm not scared because I can portal.
Portal out.
Yeah, and if you follow me, it's under tower range, so good luck.
And he has the heal as well, too.
Especially in the early game. Bard is so cool because you can play really aggressive. And kind of carefree. It does get a little bit different later on. You got to play a lot more safe because you get you are a squishy. You're kind of like a mage, but in the form of a tank. You think you look like a tank, but you're very squishy. And a lot of Bards actually rush Dead Man's Plate, so you get the slow on the auto, which is very, very good. And then you actually sometimes see Bards get like rapid fire cannon. It's just a very cool, unique champion that can build items that you don't usually see in the support
you don't
road.
expect him to do that much damage either with all his stuff that he has.
And actually what Alex is doing here, he's getting the freeze. He has a 6 minion top wave, so he can, and he's actually thinning it a little bit, but with 6 minions, you can actually get a perfect freeze, which will never break. But you do take some damage, and he's got plenty of biscuits and stuff, and we see Maokai getting the recall here, but he's going to lose a lot of experience here. And Poppy hasn't got the back yet, but she's going to get all this experience, and she's kind of just forcing Maokai.
And the gold is going to be crazy in this one, so she's doing really smart. And the Jarvan now has to they have to force the push
they have to break the freeze. And Maokai is not a champion that can break it very easy. He does pick up the Bombi Simmer, which will help. But Poppy, as a champion with her Q, she can thin waves very efficiently. And this is something that kind of what we were talking about, the experience, being a very high-rated top laner. This is something you won't see in many games. And we do see Maokai come to break it, and he's actually fighting for this. So he really wants this He needs this to get into tower. Otherwise, this is just going to bleed more and more. And if Sedge actually pass up here, it could remove Maokai from the entire game. If he just needs to play topside right now. And even if it's just for a couple minutes where Maokai can fall so far behind, if he gets out of experience range, you're basically making him half a champion.
Correct.
And that's something that is really smart. And we see Sejuani coming in for the gank up top here, kind of what we were talking about.
And they got first blood.
Yep. And so Maokai does have TP, and with FN getting the dragon, that is very good because they get something for it. But so Maokai is losing a lot, but he can TP back now.
Right.
He doesn't have to save TP for the dragon play, which we've seen traditionally. And they're fast pushing here, so Poppy's going to get a cheater recall. I think Alex watches some LS because this is textbook lane manipulation. And we see Maokai getting the freeze on here.
And he uses the ult just so his lane can push back to even.
That is so smart.
I never thought about doing that.
I am actually very impressed. This is some great minion manipulation.
That was crazy. I did not think about that. Wow.
If you're in the Twitch chat and see how this is being played in the top lane, this is like
that's scary.
How you can like remove people from the game.
Yes.
You can literally make enemy top laners irrelevant if you have a winning matchup and they can't fight you.
And they have to stay top. They can't do much. But yes, Maokai's out of the game, but at the same time, Maokai still has all his utility that can still change team fights though.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit more squishy than others, but still.
But and Aftershock gives so much stats where he will be relevant, but it's just really nice to see him thinking like, hey, I can use this.
Right.
And we see some of the synergy. So Solar Mason was the jungler before, and we see them communicate, hey, I have this freeze, come up, and we can really use it.
And effective, too.
Yeah, effective. And we see legit Camel with the freeze here. This is I'm loving this.
This is a different game than they ever played. I have to say that.
Much more coordinated. Like before, they kind of had a little bit of a solo queue feel, and we actually see the nice flash by the Lux, and Jarvan's actually under tower, and burns the flash. What a clean gank. So they use the Orianna R to kind of CC, even though it's just a minor CC. It's like half a second. It's enough time for Jarvan to line up the EQ, and it is flash, but a lot of summoners burned, and Burn Victim actually has the cleanse here, which makes him very safe. So I expect THE to just play this as a farm lane. We see Lux. She's so far back. She's safe, farming, pushing the wave, really using her champion well, and kind of how we talked about Ezreal being able to farm safely and allowing Bard to play.
Right.
Lux is allowing Poppy and Sejuani and the bot lane to play more aggressive because they're playing just safe.
Yeah.
So we see some pings going on the Rift Herald. And they look like it's FN ping, so I wonder if they think it's being started or but Sedge is going to show in the mid lane here.
Going to hold the wave for,
Yeah, and so far we've had a really clean game on both sides. This is a very
it's a more patient game than what it was
before.
It's not as bloodthirsty. It's very smart play. I think that's the enjoyment that I'm watching right now. It's a little slower, but
and we actually see Nautilus getting on the move first here, roaming before the Bard, starting this Rift Herald like those pings had came out. Usually you see the Bard on the move first, especially with an Ezreal. You get the agency to be a little more greedy and be on the move here. But we see the True Shot Barrage coming in, and they're actually three-man countering it.
They're forcing the Maokai to make a decision.
Yeah, Maokai has to give up 2 waves because he's down like 14 CS. He has to give up, and he's actually committing to the team play, which is great. Ooh. And we see Orianna with a great R here. But Poppy comes in and kills the Bard. And he's stuck in the Thunderdome with a fed Poppy. That is no fun. But Maokai comes in with a great ultimate, and we see Lux.
But we do lose. THE does lose the Rift.
Yeah, so the Rift goes over to FN, but this Lux is doing so much work. Wow, a triple kill for Lux.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Lux landed that Q on the, I think it was the Orianna, and she sniped him with the R. And after that, they just didn't have the damage like we talked about. It was Maokai and Jarvan does have great damage early game with his passive, but he had used all his passive procs on everyone. And then they just kind of ran out of damage, and Lux was just throwing skill shots, and he hit everything in that fight. And you can see Lux, how strong it is. And actually we see, Nautilus going in here. Oh, and he arcane shift the W, which is very smart because he would have actually died. And Bard comes in to kind of save the day, but Riskit played that very clean. He saved the arcane shift for the W, which would have procced the Kaisa passive and probably killed him. So that was very well played by FN. Bard does have ult here, so they can look to do something creative where Jarvan
you have the Sedge
comes in after after the Bard ult. But and this is the thing. Poppy still has TP and you can tackle him out. Yep, nice. You can tackle him out of the tunnel. I was just gonna say, and this is that whole play is a product of the freeze.
Yep.
Maokai got so far behind, he had to TP back. Otherwise, he was going to be 2 levels down, and then Poppy had TP advantage, and that's how they make that play. And conveniently, Dragon is spawning.
Just right on time.
Yeah, so and you can see the play really
Jarvan made a play
here.
Bot lane.
Oh, Jarvan is, so I'm not sure how that started. We just came in.
Yeah, I just saw them down there, so I didn't. I was just saying, nice.
Nice flash, and here comes the Lux, and she is super fed. Ooh. So she's 301. She could run away with this game. And we were saying the mid lane is kind of where the secondary damage is. Sure, Kai'Sa and Ezreal really provide that consistent damage, but the burst and like the
initial damage,
and the team fight deciding damage is going to be kind of who lands and who misses.
Well, that's when I saw their team kind of they're so tanky on THE, whereas if on the other side, the only tanky person you're going to have is Maokai, right? And maybe Jarvan. But other than that, you get that ult on any of the other 3 players,
and that's
that
team
game's
fight changing.
Done.
Yeah, we actually see with that overextension in the bot lane, Maokai's able to catch up in CS. He evens the thing, or evens the CS difference, and he got like 3-4 plates. So that's a huge. So a lot of that play from the freeze gets swung back because of the overextension. They kind of went deep, and I wasn't able to see how they got there, but Jarvan came in, killed the Ezreal, or killed the Kai'Sa, and Poppy had to flash out.
Yep.
So that's like a 300 gold swing in there. And Kai'Sa actually gets hit by the Bard. She was right on the edge, and this is
the stun.
Yeah, this is the thing with Bard is if you do land the ult next to a wall, it's almost guaranteed. So, and with no flash, there is no way
in the bot lane from what it looked like.
And I think they wanted to take the 2v2, so they both have Manamune. So, and that's just an interesting with jungler topside. And Jarvan was actually down there too, so taking that 2v2 is interesting. But we see Sedge coming in.
Orianna, no mana.
Yeah, she does have the cleanse, so we see it come out. But that should be some plates in the mid lane, and we see bot lane. The Herald gets summoned, so this is going to be first tower going down. And turret plating is going to fall in 30 seconds, so that's a really good use of the Rift Herald. And that was the Rift Herald where they actually lost the fight, but they got the Herald and used it to get first tower. So in all, they did lose 3 kills in that fight, but they got a whole tower and the plates. So it ends up coming out as an even trade.
Even.
So we see Maokai being smart. Sejuani isn't bot lane.
No.
They knew that from the tower falling. So Bearson played that really smart. He's like, most likely Sejuani's here, so I'm going to ward it. I'm not going to face check, because if I face check, I'm dead. So, and Poppy itemizing the Spirit Visage first item here. Not really afraid of the Jarvan or the.
No, I honestly, with Poppy being ahead, I thought maybe a little bit more on like a Triforce
or I haven't seen Poppy in a very long time in the top lane.
Just because she's ahead. That's why I thought, just because of that.
But she's really looking to be that initiation and maybe just let Lux and Kai'Sa really pop off and carry this. So we see Ezreal Bard, after taking bot lane turret, they're rotating to the top lane. But this is a scary Poppy still. If she gets a hold of someone, she is going to rough them up. So
hurts.
Having some good time in the Bard portals. That's some of the coolest noises. Oh, and we see Storyteller getting caught out here. Bard landed the nice ult on Poppy, and now we see everyone just pile in. So Maokai using the TP, he gets the push in the bot lane, and then converts it into a top lane TP for a tower, or a kill and a tower. So very good use of the teleport. He was forced to use the early teleport, and he really makes up for it here by guaranteeing the kill.
Like I said, and this is where like I think someone said who has the game based on picks, right? I think it really it comes down to team comp now, or just team play, right? And that's where Fire Nation has, because they've been playing together, where THE has like 2 new players basically, so they have to learn how to play around that as well too. So they did they're doing really good still. I think Fire Nation just has the edge on the experience with each other.
And just familiarity. You know this person's going to want to go here. This person's going to push this wave. And just like knowing how they have won all
how
these
they
games.
Won their games.
They've got experience. They haven't dropped the game yet. So, you build those like knowing to play around dragons as we've seen. But we actually see THE answering right back and being on the first one to get to the Rift Herald. It looks like they're going to actually secure this one. So see if they can crack open the mid lane and really open the map up.
Because Dragon's coming up.
Yeah,
soon
so bot lane tier 1 and top lane tier 1 are great to get, but it really just makes the lanes longer. Mid lane tier 1 really opens up the map, and we see, Fire Nation's just fishing for a pick here, and that's going to be really important. If one team gets a pick and they're both 5v5 comps, the other team is just going to probably get ran over. And a really good interaction here. Bard uses the ult to save the tower, but I think he was just way too early.
Just pause. It was delaying it.
Yeah, so... it does delay it. Okay.
It delays that. So did the tower still go down? Tower didn't go down.
Didn't go down.
Because Dragon's coming up, so they have to play around that.
And they can fight for the Earth Drag. So... Mountain Drag is very, very scary in this because we have Poppy, Sedge, Nautilus, Maokai, and Jarvan, who is going tank. So this is going to give so much stats. It gives, 8% bonus armor, magic resist.
Nice.
So, Poppy gets the stun here and burns the cleanse from Orianna. So look for Lux to try and focus her down now that she can't dodge the... And Maokai going in. That hook was very odd by
That was rough.
But Jarvan
the jungler
going
is
a little
down,
bit
so they
in.
have a chance.
Yeah, and Kai'Sa's still alive, and she's doing damage. She's low. This is a very extended team fight, and they traded jungle for support, which is definitely worth. There's a weird interaction in that team fight where Nautilus, I'm not sure if he hooked the wall, and he just got stuck for a second there, but it looked kind of funny. But in these kind of team fights is where Ezreal really shines. He can do that damage.
Just poke everybody out.
And for sustained damage, he does so well. But that Lux is very strong. She's 401, and and Maokai going in with the flash twisted advance, but they don't have the damage to follow
makes
up.
A huge,
Lux just popping off, and Kai'Sa even doing damage on the way out. She's low, but she is still doing sustained damage, and they took the portal in thinking they were going to, and they came into a fed Lux, and she just pounded them. That was really clean, and THE played that so well. They kited back, but they were fiighting the whole time. They weren't just running.
Yes, they were really patient in that fight that I haven't seen them be. That was a different look.
And that's really awesome to see. And those team fights are, and the Dragon's still up, so we're ready for another 5v5 because those team fights are so close.
But Hadwan did what he had to do though. Yeah. He literally stalled and poked and everything.
And I don't think he missed a skill shot in that whole team fight. He is popping off.
I think
he is doing 603 now, and that Lux is going to be doing some damage. He picks up this Hourglass, so that's going to make him even safer. And with all these tanks on their team, they have really strong peel. So FN doesn't really have anyone who can kill the backline. Sure, Maokai can get on him, but after
if he had no one to follow up.
They have the Orianna ult, and if that gets Hourglass, the damage falls off until that front line dies. Ezreal really struggles with getting through front line. So
Poppy's not scared at all.
No, Poppy is not afraid, and they're just brawling, and someone getting caught on the top here, and Kai'Sa actually getting hit with the Bard ultimate is very important, but they are just focusing down the Sejuani, and Lux is full health, so look out. But this is a very similar team fight to what we just saw. Poppy actually getting caught out. They were a little split on that, and the Lux was not but Lux just lands an EQ, and she just pops them. They do have Smite up. Sejuani is not down, but Lux with this much AP might be able to outsmite.
I think Sejuani is down.
Oh, but it misses, or it resets right when... Are we going to see a steal?
She didn't pop it off fast enough.
It was kind of like a game of chicken. Who was going to do it first? Because I think it was like a little bit out of smite range, and they were like,
See, that team fight, I feel like THE got a little too confident in that team fight right there.
I'm with you on that. So what was interesting was Kai'Sa and Lux were pretty healthy throughout the whole thing.
They were.
But they were a little split. They kind of had their front lines on two different fronts. But Lux landing the stun here and gets ulted back, and this is a super close 1v1, and Orianna picks up the huge 850 gold shutdown.
That was a huge
That was
shutdown.
very clean played by burn victim, and he wasn't scared. This is a 6-0 Lux, and he went head-to-head. He landed the ultimate. I don't think Lux had ultimate, or just came off a cooldown. And we actually see her with barrier. That might have been down, or it might be a visual bug, but those are 2 big cooldowns to hold on to. Maybe just underestimating the damage that was coming out, but this Orianna is coming along just as well. She's 326. She sure doesn't have as much AP as Lux does at this point, but she still packs a punch. She has the Oblivion Orb and Sork Shoes, which gives a lot of Magic Pen, and that basically is doing true damage to a no MR Lux besides base MR. So this is a very close game. I'm excited to see how it's going to play out, because we saw a team fight. You don't hear me
talking a whole lot, but that's because I'm trying to concentrate on this game right now. We saw
a team fight go THE, and then 1 minute later, after losing the team fight, FN comes out and takes a 2-0 sweep and gets the dragon. So THE picking up the kills, but we were talking before, the Mountain Drag is so strong when you have big frontliners, because 8% armor and NR, and we actually see Bard land the stun here, and Orianna cancels the dash of Sejuani. Does she have flash? No, she doesn't.
Can't do much about that.
And Bard just eliminates the backline here, and
I don't know what happened there.
Sejuani just getting a little overzealous for a ward and not having total information.
Right.
There's 3 people on the other side of the wall, and he just kind of got surprised.
This could be Baron, because that's 2 players. When Kaisa just went down too in that fight.
And we see why Bard is so good in that play there. They got a pick, and Bard just said, okay, we're going to eliminate the backline, and we're just going to kill the one person who's caught out. So if they're playing how they want to, they really want to play front to back.
Wow, that was a nice portal.
Yeah, Bard portals Maokai right into Lux, and that actually the stun connects. And so Ezreal is going to run down this Lux, and he actually flashes and takes the kill. So the game kind of getting away from THE here.
They had the good confidence.
Yeah, they had good team fights.
Control of the game.
And the Ezreal is sitting at 8-1 and 3. He is strong, and
he pulls up the Muram. Is it the Muramana?
Muramana, yeah. So he finishes it.
Yeah.
And the big thing about Ezreal, there was a really nice, well-written article on Reddit about Muramana and how if it's used efficiently, it's like the strongest item on Ezreal. If he can finish it before like the 3rd dragon, he becomes like a mid-game beast. But a lot of players delay it and finish like the Triforce first, and then he just like loses so much power. So I don't remember the exact numbers, but if he finishes it at a certain point in mid game, he's like the strongest champion for like 10-15 minutes until it gets to a point where late game hyper carries take over. So and we see him rushing the Death's Dance. He said, I don't even need a Sheen item. I have Sheen. I'm not finishing Triforce or Frozen Fist. We need the survivability now, and that's really going to help against the Lux, because it does have the MR and the bleed effect. So he's not going to be taking as much damage. And that's a really good adaptation. And we see just how ahead he is. Kaisa sitting on just the Manamune and Rageblade components. So Ezreal really going to be... It's kind of Ezreal versus Lux right now. If Lux is able to land a Binding or some CC lands on him and able to really chunk him out, that's kind of like the win con for THE right here. But if Ezreal's just allowed to free fire, and he can E the CC, so hopefully he doesn't get hit. But you know, people get hit by skill shots. That's just how it goes. And we see Bearson fishing for a pick here. And what's been working really well for them is just CCing one target, Bard ulting the rest of the team, and then taking a 4v5. And that's kind of how these team fights have been evolving. But we see Bard ult just going a little bit wide here. That it is a very difficult skill shot to land. And if you hit your teammates and you eliminate your front line, and Poppy can kind of do the same thing as we see there. Poppy can kind of remove the front line, and then you can kind of fight a back-to-front team fight, and the tanks are scrambling. So these team fights are they very similar roles on a lot of these champions. And Poppy going to stop the dash here. Maybe no. Bard was very patient on that. If he would have done it right away, he would have been stuck, and then it would have been no fun for him. So I think this Dragon is a huge pickup. This forces soul point and gives so much pressure onto THE. But FN being very safe and very cautious about it.
They're probably going to let him have it just because I think they still have Baron. Yep, they still have Baron up. Ooh.
Yeah, that was a close steal, but I really would have liked to see THE fight for that, because that's another 8% armor and MR that's going onto this Maokai, and he's starting to become a problem.
Or at least maybe just lose one person for the steal.
Yeah, try for it.
Yeah.
That's a tough decision because they do have Baron, so if you lose someone, you might lose an inhib.
Yep.
So I like the patient play, but being on soul point is just puts so much pressure on the game. It kind of puts a ticking turbine on.
It does.
But they elect with Baron being on. I totally see the reasoning behind it, but we like fighting, so.
Hey, I'm enjoying this so far. It's not been a bad game.
A very back and forth, very close game.
The goal differential, though, is 5,000.
Yeah,
so
it's really ballooned in the last about 5 minutes. Up to 20 minutes, I haven't been keeping my eye on it, but I'm interested to see how the gold influx was because I feel like THE had a lead for a long time on gold. So
I was looking at it. FN still had a lead by like 1,000, 2,000.
Okay.
So,
but that's still probably one of the closest games that they've had.
Yep.
Electric Lux is the only Lux.
They're talking about the Slux skins. They just keep going back and forth. Dark Lux skin, Flame Lux skin, Electric Lux skin, Fire Lux skin. That's
more Lux skins. That's what we need, everybody. But yeah, we're kind of seeing a little bit of a lull state here, and I wouldn't even be mad if FN just said, okay, we're just going to play ping pong with these waves, and we'll fight you at the Mountain Drake.
Yep.
If they get this dragon, it's going to be very difficult because every little bit of MR armor gets multiplied by that much. So Ezreal is kind of like a pseudo tank if they get Mountain Soul with just the Death Stance. And once he finishes the Frozen Fist, he gets like 100 extra armor and MR, and he just life steals with the Death Stance. And it's just kind of like not fair. Mountain Soul is very good, especially on tanky teams.
Especially both teams having at least 2 tanks on their team.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see how they go at it. I think the smart play would be just to kind of sit back and play it slow.
Yeah.
But
I think it comes down to the Baron and the Dragon plays from this point on.
So I don't think we have a time. I'm interested to see when they spawn in comparison to each other.
Yes.
Like if they're going to spawn at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, it's right there.
On the right. Okay. So 50 seconds till Baron.
And 2:30. Okay, so Baron's going to come up much earlier. So FN isn't able just to stall for the dragon or the Soul.
Yeah.
So we might get to see a Baron fight, and if THE's able to come out on top,
pull the Baron,
that will be a very big swing because then they can kind of control the map and get the dragon control.
Yep.
And then FN has to come to them for the fight.
Yep.
And that'll be a big advantage. So I think we have a Dark Lux. If I saw that right.
Yeah, Dark Lux. But
we like Electric Lux here from TFT. I played some Sins, and Electric Lux was the win con. So I'm a fan of Electric Lux too. For whoever was saying that in Twitch chat,
I just like her elemental skin in
it's
general.
Cool, it's just you can play
so many different things you can do.
Yeah, that's like 10 skins, and she already has like 15 or 17 or a crazy amount. So we see FN getting the Baron vision. They know that they're kind of in the driver's seat right now.
Yeah.
As long as something crazy doesn't happen and some really weird team fight.
Yeah.
Where I would assume Ezreal has to get caught.
Yes.
He is so strong right now.
They have to lock down the Ezreal first, and that's going to be hard. I don't know who else they have to hit. Yeah. Orianna, Jarvan,
Yeah, Orianna's doing low-key a lot of damage in these fights. The one thing is, Kaisa is coming almost online. She is halfway to her Nashor's Tooth, I think.
Yeah.
She just finished the Stinger. And once that comes up, her damage goes much higher because she has the W upgrade. All the upgrades are finished then. We see a little combat over the Scuttle Crab here. And Poppy's able to secure it. And Poppy's going to look to push this. Neither top laner really wants to use their TP if they have to. So if they can get the wave advantage and kind of start the moving. But we see the fight kind of coming towards Dragon.
And they're waiting for it now.
Yeah, and I think that's advantage to FN. If they didn't have to, because they risk, if they do take a 5v5 at Baron, and if they do lose,
that's the thing.
Then they lose Dragon.
Yep.
If they just, with THE, and we see kind of a Ezreal getting caught here, and Kaisa goes in.
Kaisa
gets the shutdown. 900 gold shutdown. That was huge.
That was a huge play.
Yeah, you kind of saw a little bit of hesitation there. I thought he wasn't going to go for it, but
the Orianna all interrupted them. That's why they couldn't. It interrupted them, but they couldn't get the play until he landed the. What's the W?
The W. Prey Seeker, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a huge pick, and this should be sure.
Orianna doesn't have super anymore, low. So Orianna's free.
And this Lux is still very strong. Oh, we see that was a super good interaction there. So Bard ulted on the Orianna, and is she gonna tick? Oh, she ticks down
the ignite,
and now they have no damage.
No.
And Lux is alive, so Lux is going to be...
And Kai'Sa's still alive as well, too, so she hasn't come back yet.
She just came back from base. This is going to be a clean ace, I think. Oh, all right. Well, I don't think anyone on TG is going to die, so as long as they don't miss the bear or the Dragon Smite, this should be free, and this extends the game. This is a huge Dragon.
This is huge.
Because this is going to be the armor and MR amp for Poppy, Sedge, Nautilus. That's a huge... gold efficient.
They needed that pick too. That pick was huge.
I thought the Ezreal. God, I was so scared. But Maokai coming in, they're looking to fight because they're all healthy.
Yeah.
And THE is weak or low health, but
so they have to back fast and hit Baron because else they're gonna rush the Baron.
They're gonna go right to Baron, and I don't even think they have time. They might have to just give it up. But they got the Dragon. Yeah. That's the big thing. They extend this game. If Dragon goes over to FM, the game is pretty much over.
Right.
But they live to fight another 5 minutes, and Baron goes down. They might lose some outer towers, but I think they're strong enough to protect the base.
They are.
And the inhibs. But we see Poppy going in here. She is very tanky.
She's got the flash.
And she flashes out. Jarvan actually follows up, and we see that Bard ultimate used so efficiently again to just eliminate the damage dealers from THE and let Poppy just get killed. Yep. But this Lux is still very scary.
Strong.
And they're kind of stuck. This is like a very awkward team fight. Maokai is not taking any damage. He is healing so much.
But that's the benefit of him. That's why I wasn't so worried about him losing first blood, right?
Yeah,
because there's so many ability users that he's just going to heal. It doesn't matter.
Lux is just feeding into it. And this team fight is so long. Now just imagine if THE had all these dragons.
Right.
And Maokai is just going to run the Sejuani down. He does not care that there's a tower there.
Maokai is just scary when you have just all ability users.
Yeah, he's just healing so much, and there's no real healing reduction on the side of THE. Poppy does have the Bramble Vest, but she went down so early in that fight. But look for Lux going to have to try to steal this. And that was a crazy team fight. That was like a 2-minute long team fight that was going back and forth. But the Maokai might just be at the point where he's going to be very difficult to kill. And Lux ult coming in. Oh, and a little bit early. That's a very hard. It's pretty much blind.
Yep.
So you just kind of got to shoot your shot and give it a shot. And I don't think that's game ending either. This Kai'Sa is just going to keep scaling. And at a certain point, she actually outscales Ezreal. Ezreal is the best mid-game AD carry. But Kai'Sa scales extremely well.
And her percentage health damage is going to be
good.
Yep.
And once again, we saw the Bard ult used so nicely in that fight. Poppy was getting vision and got caught out, and Bard just said, okay, I'm going to eliminate everyone else except for Poppy, and then they just DPS'd her down. And with THE losing that front to back, their team fight is much harder to execute.
Right.
But if Poppy's able to be disruptive, she's just as tanky as Maokai, and she's going to cause as much havoc in the backline.
Yep.
But if everyone is eliminated and everyone can just focus the Poppy down,
it's done.
It's not the same.
Yep.
So Bard being able to just disrupt and eliminate these damage dealers.
But that's a good Bard though.
Yeah, that's what Bard brings that's what Bard brings to team comps, and when it's used like that, it is very nice to see because that is using the champion to its fullest potential and really taking the team fights and making them favorable for you. And I just noticed this Nautilus skin. It's very nice.
Oh, the Conqueror Nautilus skin?
It is a very cool
skin. I
still
have yet to get that skin. It just came out this week.
Yeah, look at that. That is so cool.
Yeah.
He kind of looks like Mordekaiser, the Cheeto Mordekaiser skin, but more bad.
Yeah, this game just gets prolonged because of the dragon.
Yeah, I think we're going to go until FN is playing very patient.
Yeah.
I think they could try and...
I think they could push for inhib, though.
Yeah, or even eliminate the outer tier 2s.
Yep.
But they're playing smart. They have Baron now, so they should have access to the dragon first, whereas last time THE had access to the dragon first, and that's the map control is very important. But we see Poppy pushing here. She's probably going to build up a big wave, like a slow push, to take this top wave turret, and then she can join. But Maokai is taking a lot of damage.
Down.
And you see the...
There it goes.
Yeah, so Kai'Sa's
percent
max health damage
it's huge.
is very, very strong. And we see how effective it is against the Maokai. Maokai without Kaisa could face tank everyone, but when Kaisa's there, but we see Orianna, and this is the bar damage. Oh, and Nautilus getting a little cut out
again.
I think he's just trying to get some vision to see where the enemy team is going, and it's so hard in these type of situations where you need vision to have everyone else move out. Right. And him going down is bad, but it's not like the end of the world. They got vision of where they're going, and Poppy is on the split right now. I think they're just going to try and trade here but Luck's taking a lot of damage. We just see Ezreal just huge. Yeah. He is so strong in this team fight, and he's just popping off. But Kaisa is fully online. It's kind of like Ezreal versus Kaisa, and she got knocked
so
out.
Hard. She got knocked.
Yeah, the Jarvan EQ was so good in that team fight. Hit the Kaisa. Kaisa flashed, but I think the knockup still registered.
Went through. Yep.
So and with that, it looks like it's going to be a good game, but maybe they don't really have any damage. That's why I don't think they're going to be able to hold this. And the Ezreal is just absolutely popping off. And that was a super. That was a super close game. Wow. I don't know what they could be different. The drafts were super even. We saw two similar styles come in, two 5v5 teams, and they just brawled 5v5. We didn't see a lot of sloppy like 3v5s. They had good communication, and with being kind of a new team, like with new members, they played very clean, and their
I think
synergy
it was a good
good
game. The synergy was good. FN, you know they're a good team. They've been playing for a while. But
that was the closest they've been pushed,
THE,
I think.
Yeah, that was. I agree. And THE coming in with 2 new players, that was, and still doing well, doing better than their last couple games that they played. Yeah. They showed a different side of them, which was really good.
Yeah, that was a clean game. And like I said, they were playing very smart around the objectives. The dragons were very important, and they realized once the 3rd dragon got taken, that's all in. Like the games around there, and they didn't take the fight at the Baron, which THE would probably have been happy for.
Yeah.
So they were like, we're not going to risk it.
I was kind of worried about that. I was wondering about that decision. I thought they were going to force the Baron fight.
Yeah.
Just because both Maokai and Poppy had the teleport.
Yeah,
right?
so THE could have forced the Baron fight, and then that might have changed it, but they played it safe, which either way is probably correct, but THE probably wanted the fight right there, and if they lose the fight, they probably lose the game, but if they win the fight, they get Baron and Dragon.
Right, and that would have totally switched the game out.
Yeah.
They could have gotten at least 1 or 2 tier 2 towers, or if they really pushed it because they had the damage, they could have pushed 1 inhib, maybe.
And instead, they got the Dragon, but then FN was able to get the Baron, and then they could use that pressure to really just kind of suffocate it. Even if the game doesn't end there, the Dragon spawns in a minute after those inhibs crack, and it's so hard to fight for that once your base is broken because they could just stand there and wait for the minions to push and be like, okay, if you want to fight us now, and so. Just those, and like I said, it wasn't incorrect to do it that way. But they won the fight, but then they were so low that Maokai TP'd, and he's like, okay, are we going to fight, or are you going to give us Baron? So,
and some of their decisions wasn't bad. Like the last Dragon fight was a good decision, I think. But you're right. They couldn't TP fast enough, go back to base fast enough to go to fight the Baron at the same time, which was rough. Was just a really hard decision to see.
And for being a new team, I thought their communication looked pretty clean. They seemed to be on the same page. We saw some really good wave manipulation in the top lane, which is awesome to see. Like just seeing that stuff used. Like you see it in solo queue for a very little bit, especially when you're like gold 1. I try and do it, but I'm not very good. But seeing Alex do it so effectively, he built up a nice wave and just manipulated it very well. And he kind of put Bearson in, and Bearson played it very well.
He did.
He did die trying to break the freeze, but at that point you kind of have to do it. And his team played around it correctly. They took the Dragon while the Sejuani was topside, so Maokai could TP back, and then he ended up not losing as much as it could have been. It could have bled into a much bigger problem, because if Maokai has one less item in those team fights at the end, I think the game goes differently.
Correct, because FN, like you said, FN played it really well, knowing, knowing that the top laner that Barcelona was playing against, Alex, was maybe a better player or whatnot, but they played it so smart as a team that loss didn't mean anything to them. It didn't.
Yeah, he had to use his teleport, and Alex had TP advantage, but FN had already got the dragon. So I think the TP advantage ended up getting 1 kill.
Correct.
But they got the dragon, and that ended up being the win.
And they still had first Herald as well, too, which made that a difference for the bot lane because of the gold as well, too.
So then they just spread it that. Yeah, it was a very, very like chess-like game where this team was very invested in top lane. The other team was very invested in bot lane. Mid lane was kind of a stalemate.
It was a stalemate.
Which is a lot of our games have been very mid-focused. So seeing it not be mid-focused was very cool because you see how the rest of the map affects it. And Bard didn't get on the roam as much as maybe could have, but it ended up working out. I was
a little disappointed in. I had to say that, but hey, it worked out.
The only time Nautilus got on the roam first for the Herald, but FN ended up getting it. So it ended up not working out. But the Bard play was super, super good in the team fights. I can't stress him. He was hitting the Kai'Sa every time, so Kai'Sa wasn't able to get through the front line. And that was what was needed for the THE to win those team fights. It was very well played, and I'm really excited for this game too.
Yeah, I'm excited for game 2. See what happens,
and interested to see what changes in pick and ban. So I think the bans were very smart, but I don't know if Bard has to go because Bard was, if they want to play the same style, Bard really won some of those team fights that looked like they were THE favored. Just because how well it was played for one, and how it can transform the whole team fight. So
no, I agree. Whether Bard goes or else they find someone to hit get the Bard off the map,
or just to get to backline. Or I know Storyteller can play it, so maybe they prioritize it and take it earlier. So all right, I think we're gonna go on a little break here. We're gonna come back at 8 o'clock.
8:05 it looks like, because
we'll be back at 8. Okay, we'll be back in a few minutes. Got to give the voice a little break, so don't go anywhere if you want to see another really exciting game. So
it's a good game.
See you in a little bit. All right, welcome back, guys. Yeah, we are just having some real excited conversations about that game, how close it was, and how really competitive it was. So we're excited. We're kind of talking, and we see Tank Monkey here really wants to see some fiesta going on. So, and we're all down for that. Bearson turns the page and plays Singed himself instead of banning it. That would be pretty exciting.
That'd be interesting to see.
And I would be down for it. So I honestly think the bans were very good. I think Syndra has to go against Burn Victim. He's been so good on it. But then a little bit flexible on the other ones. And I hope THE doesn't tilt, because that game was so close for so long. They should not tilt. And hopefully they don't, because it was so close to being a win. And we were kind of talking about Mountain Dragon being how important it was. It really took the Maokai to the next level. After you stack 2 of those, that's like a whole item.
Yeah.
16%. A Nivea Jungle. that's a little too extreme, I think. The Mountain Drag was a huge difference, and I think if it was a different dragon as the soul, we could have had a completely different game. And that's why this the souls are a very good idea, and it was a nice change, because stacking dragons was always super efficient, and when they were RNG, it kind of just felt like, oh, they happened to roll it. But now it's every game, you know it's gonna be stacking. So when it is Mountain Dragon and you have a lot of tanks in the game, they start to get out of hand real quick. So once you get 3 Mountain Dragons, that's like 24% armor. That's so
and
so
that's
good.
What made the difference because we saw that Lux was carrying, right?
Yeah.
Lux was doing a lot of damage, but when they stacked those Mountain Drakes on their tanks, Lux couldn't do much damage anymore.
Yeah, she couldn't get to the what's the one, the magic pen item?
Void
Staff. That's what it is. And she usually wouldn't need it, but I think because of the mountain, it just added another item she needed to carry that game. And I think if she would have been able to get to that, maybe because even Ezreal with the Death's Dance, that's like 50 MR. Multiply that by 8%, add that on, add another 8%, and then you're starting to get to the point where he's not taking as much damage as usual. So once again, I'm really excited for this game number 2, and interested to see how the changes go in Champ Select.
I know everyone's saying they want to see a Fiesta, but I personally actually enjoyed that without the Fiesta for the first time. I thought it was pretty nice.
Yeah, no,
see some nice clean game.
Yeah, and there's a lot of give and take, and that's why I really enjoy watching League at like a very coordinated level, is because there is so much. You have to give up something to get something usually, and using that and playing around it is very interesting, and just seeing how different people approach it and use it as and Lux did more damage. Yeah, Lux definitely played good.
Lux on TV, someone did say like Burn outplayed the Lux mid. I don't think there was an outplay. I think they were both pretty even.
They both played very good.
I think they were both really good. It just, like you said, it came down to those Mountain Drakes that added on to the MR and the armor. That was just the difference between that.
And you got to take and a lot of times you hear people saying mid diff, jung diff. When you're playing in a game like this where it is very
coordinated,
those 5v5 team fights are very small mistakes make a huge difference. And when you throw in things like the Bard ultimate, you throw in a 10 kill Ezreal who's doing so much damage, it makes it very hard to position and play around it. So some of those mistakes get shown off a lot more when you do introduce someone like a Bard who can just like, oh, one person stepped a couple Teemos too far, I guess we'll just catch him out. That really makes it look like a lot bigger mistake or like a misstep. And sometimes it's not even a misstep. Sometimes it's just a great Bard ultimate, which it makes it look like they're caught out, but really, realistically, they're not really that out of position.
Correct.
And I thought the mid lane was pretty even, and I was really impressed by, Lux is a champion you don't really see in coordinated games because she is so skill shot reliant. I think Padawan had...
really did.
I don't think he missed a skill shot before like 15 minutes in team fights. I mean, I'm sure in laning phase.
But in team fights, he at least hit close to 80% of all that. 90%, it was crazy.
And he was getting all the kills, and Burn Victim was playing very good. He was comboing the Bard ultimate with the Orianna
very
ult
well.
So good. And we saw him like eliminate Kai'Sa from team fights just because of pressing R at the right time and just like undodgeable. And that was really like the difference making. And not that one outplayed the other, but like they were very different, serving different purposes. So
it was very team oriented on the Orianna side of things.
Yeah,
so it was very good.
And with the comps being 2 damage source, if you can eliminate one with one button, you're probably going to win the team fight. So, and it looks like 8:05. So we're going to be getting in team or champ select here in a second, hopefully. So I cannot wait for this. I wonder if the teams are going to take the same approach and we're going to see a similar style, or is like last week in game 2 we saw FN really flip the switch and play an early comp. So
that's going to be interesting.
That might be a nice switch because we could see how THE responds to something like that. But I wouldn't be surprised if we saw very similar bans because
these two teams playing against each other reminds me just they're playing the meta, right? That's really what it is, where we haven't seen other temes. They're not really, they're playing some of a meta, but
a little more off meta picks, a little more cheese. Got mid.
Yeah, right? So the Ashe is coming out. Okay, so the Ashe gets banned, Morgana gets banned.
Ashe is the AD carry pool is very stale. So we saw Phelios, Ezreal as like the premier 2. We saw him and Kalissa. Those 3, and then Ashe came out of nowhere. She started drawing bans in competitive play, and I was very confused on why, but she just brings so much utility and stuff like that. So she is just very good, and she can scout and see where the enemy junglers, and we see first pick Ezreal, and Risk It popped off last game. I don't think we were giving him enough credit. We were kind of talking up the other champions, but he was really just bringing the damage. He was just positioning well, and his build was very smart. He got the Sheen, and instead of going for Triforce, he went right for Death's Dance. So he got the MR because Lux was really
but he didn't pick up the Triforce either. He picked up Iceborne Gauntlet?
Yeah, Frozen Fists or Iceborne Gauntlets, I think the real
Frozen
name.
Fists. Nice, I like that. So Nautilus comes through again on THE.
So looking for another aggressive. They might just be playing for comfort. I know Storyteller loves playing Morgana, so having that ban, they might just be going on the aggressive side, and they were neck and neck in the bot lane through laning phase. It's not like they got outplayed. Ezreal just picked up the kills in the team fights, and then he got out of hand. So, and we see the Caitlyn coming through.
We were talking about this. I was wondering why legit Caitlyn did not go to Caitlyn last game.
Yeah, it's kind of like his
because it was a stable, because it was open. So I'm amazed. I'm kind of happy to see this. I want to see his number 1 pick into this team. I really do.
And
I want to see what it looks like.
Is good into Ezreal because Ezreal is a mid game champion. Right. So Caitlyn really looks much better because she's so strong early. Right. She does have a weak mid game, so FN should play around that and really focus on the mid game in this and kind of pick for that. Whereas Caitlyn has super good early and a super good late game. So we're going to look for them to get on the move, get the tower, move around, and really use it. And we see the Bard coming through. It was such a good pick last game. And we considered it even getting banned. And another thing that didn't get banned this game is Syndra's open, and it's not getting picked here in the first rotation by FM. We saw how strong it is.
Maybe they're baiting it.
So I wonder if Padawan is either baiting it and going to be counter-picking it, or is he gonna pick it here. It's a very strong champion. I'm not super familiar with his champion pool, but it seems like it would be a great pick here, and then he could ban two counters into it. So that would be a really nice pick here. Other than that, we see Jarvan coming through. Very similar team comp so far. And Sejuani comes through, so kind of a handshake. Sej did look really good last game. And he had the early ganks with Alex on the top side. He played very good around objectives, but just fell off. Yeah, falls off. But so does Jarvan, because Jarvan goes for a tank build. So they played very well. And there's a Syndra ban. I'm surprised it didn't get picked in the first rotation. She's been so crazy in this circuit. Every time she's in a game, it seems like she's like 10 kills and just one-shotting people.
And that's what she does. That's what she does best.
Nico again.
I'm still amazed on Nico. Someone has to explain the Nico ban for me. I'm serious. Because I haven't seen Nico being played a lot either.
No, yeah.
So I'm kind of curious as the Nico ban.
Yeah, I did see Faker pick her in a game, so maybe they're just afraid of Like, or maybe Padawan plays it, or even Alex. Maybe Alex is like an on-hit Nico player, top laner, and they just don't want it to. I remember when that was super strong. That was so much. I know. That was so much fun. And once again, we see this.
Padawan plays Nico a lot. Okay, so this could be it.
And so we see pretty much the same bans here. Orianna banned in the first rotation, Syndra banned in the second rotation, and then don't do it. Don't ban the Singed. This is right where Singed hit the bin last game.
I want to see the Singe.
Yeah. But the one thing is Darius is open this game. So Darius does very good in the Singed.
The Singed ban. But the Darius is open this time, so that's see what happens.
That's probably why they didn't want to pick Singe, because Bearson is a very big Darius player, and it is a tough matchup because Darius, if he gets a little ahead, he just runs over him.
He steamrolls easy. Yeah.
So I think that might have been why I would have liked to see it come through. Because
we might see it before the season ends.
I hope so.
You might.
I'll just keep
Lux
wishing
comes through again.
Yeah,
so they're basically going to have the same team other than the Caitlyn.
Yeah.
From what it looks like.
So it looks like it's going to be Caitlyn, Lux, but they're saving counter pick for Alex. So I'm really excited.
They are.
To see what he pulls out here, because he's going to get a winning matchup, and we'll see if he's able to take over the game and just be a complete beast.
He played what? Oh, the brand pick. So he played what a really good top laner would play as. You know what I mean? Like the wave control, just the way that he.
Oh, and Kog'Maw mid.
Oh, Kog'Maw comes out. Oh, okay.
Finally, okay. And the Syndra band, and they know who they're picking it into. So they're picking
Darius.
it into Lux. So,
okay.
Yeah. So Bearson might just be going for Darius here and saying, all right, Alex,
comfort pick for him, is that right?
Very big comfort pick, and just saying, okay, whatever you want to pick to try and carry, I'm going to try and carry too. And so we might just see a
top lane,
in the top lane here. Oh, and he does play Shen.
He trolled us.
He's a big Young Rezi fan, so Young Rezi's the Shen god. That's Bearson's idol. So he's very good on Shen. He plays it a lot. And Shen is kind of like a damage dealing tank in the early game, and gangplank
interesting
cover.
Okay.
I would really be interested to see this come through, because this is a champion that can carry, and with Alex being a very skilled player, I want to see him on a carry and see what he can do.
That means the Shen global ult makes a difference on the team fights now.
But Gangplank can answer it with his ult.
That's true.
It's not as flashy, like you don't see it come through, but if Shen ults out of top lane, Gangplank gets free farm,
right? And you don't want to give him free farm.
And another thing is they're not FN is still with 2 damage dealers, so Kog'Maw, Ezreal, whereas the other side, Gangplank, Lux, Caitlyn, they kind of have that third damage element, and Gangplank is actually super, super good into Kog'Maw, because Kog'Maw, he just puts the R over Kog'Maw, he's slowed, and Kog'Maw is kind of a sitting duck, so it was kind of, they might have been expecting the Kog'Maw pick, and that's why they waited for the last pick Gangplank, but they have enough peel to save him too.
If Padawan Talk kicks off like he did last game, that Kog'Maw's dead.
Yeah.
He has no shield to survive. No extra thing. No extra movement speed or anything to help him get out of stuff.
I expect him to build or take cleanse again.
Right.
So which will really help, because he can dodge the ultimate after the I do think this game is going to be more mid lane focused. We did talk about it last game, and it ended up not.
Right.
So, but if one of these mid laners does get ahead, the game could get completely out of control, just like we saw last game. But then the Mountain Drakes kind of brought it back.
Brought it back. Yeah, I agree. The Mountain Drakes brought that back.
Yeah, and Lux, as the game goes on, she loses that one-shot power. She is very strong in the mid game, where she can, if she lands the snare, you're pretty much dead. But once you get to 18, you get enough natural resist, and you probably build at least an MR item. Whereas you're not getting completely deleted, but you're losing most of your health. So look for a Gangplank barrel into a Luxar or something like that, which could completely blow someone up. And Kog'Maw is known as not being very mobile.
No, not at all.
I do think this top lane is very Gangplank favored. Shen probably wins at level 1, 2, and then after that, but Gangplank's not going to be.
It doesn't matter.
He's not going to be trading in face or right next to him. And with how Alex played last game, I'm really interested to see him just wave control. I was really excited to see that. Last game, it was beautiful to see that wave manipulation, and then we even saw bot lane doing some freezes and really taking it to the next step, and that's really cool to see. And you can see they're working on it and communicating about it.
I think with THE, having legit camo on the Caitlyn, I think that's going to make a little bit more pressure in the bot lane than they did in the last game. Just
and we saw
to see that.
Nautilus land a lot of really good hooks early, but Kaisa didn't have the
follow up.
Yeah, she didn't have the damage to go
through
it and get the kill and then use it to
that
it
hurt.
was just like a little short. She Ezreal lived like 3 times with like 150 health, 100 health. So if Nautilus is able to land those great early game hooks like last game, like Bard was just playing a little aggressive and testing the waters. If you get hooked into a trap, you're going to the fountain in gray screen in colorblind mode. So I'm really excited. We have a very similar I think the team fights are going to play out very similar.
I agree.
We have Shen instead of Maokai, which is a little more damage and a more global, but then we have Gangplank to answer it with globals. So top lane I think is THE favored, and with that I think I like THE's draft a lot more because of that third damage source.
Yeah, I think FN's team comp is again safe. It's safe into this comp. Yeah. So I think they're playing smart at the same time, but at the same time they're playing a little too hesitant. So we'll see how that goes this game.
And that's kind of right into Gangplank's favor, though. Gangplank is a champion that scales extremely, extremely well, where if they do play slow, like FN's comp wants to do, like obviously Kog'Maw scales really well too, but Gangplank's happy to go the distance as well. So I think these team comps are once again very even, but I think the 3 damage sources is kind of what THE was missing last game. With the 2 damage sources, there was a lot of the team fights they were falling just a little bit short. Whereas now that they have the 3rd damage source, they are going to be able to get through that front line and really punish Ezreal more. And keep your eye on the Bard. Bard was making plays last game. I love
Huge
Bard.
Plays.
He's super hype, and the ultimate is just game changing. So when you see stuff like that, it's very, very good to see it used efficiently like that. And we see him taking the electrocute again, so he's going to look to poke down this Nautilus. But to poke down Nautilus can get in there and hook you. So excited to see some fireworks in the bot lane, and then top lane's probably going to be pretty resident sleeper.
I think top lane will be slow, of course. Mid will be
mid I think is going to have a lot more jungle attention than last game. We didn't see it a lot last game, and I think Jarvan especially is going to be a lot more focused on mid lane, I think, this game. And we actually see the five-man invade like we've seen in past games. So interested to see how THE reacts. Gangplank looks like he's pathing to the tri-bush. He should get vision of this and be able to ward it first. So then they should have knowledge of it coming in. So he sees it coming, drops the ward. So now THE should have full knowledge of this. So they're going to get the ward on red buff, and THE should actually be rotating in, and you see Nautilus and Caitlyn going, and they should get a counter ward. So if we do see vertical jungling here, Gangplank could be in some trouble because he's very good early because he can Q, and Shen doesn't have like an answer to it. But with the I'm not really sure the name of it, but the circle where Shen stays in it and blocks auto attacks, that actually does block the Q from Gangplank because it's treated as an auto attack. So it will force Gangplank to come up to the wave, and if Jarvan's in the area at level 2-3, he'll probably die into like a taunt, into a knockup. So vertical jungling definitely favors FN, unless Sedge can get a level 3 gank bot lane. Then it will be completely favored for THE because they'll just blow it up. What if River Shen? I think it's gonna be a River Shen. No, I don't think River Shen's the thing anymore. And we just see some little bit of trading here. I am hyped about Cog mid, but I haven't, like you said, you don't see it a whole lot. I've seen it a little bit on streams and stuff, but and we're gonna see a big grasp of the Undying War in top lane. That's probably gonna be the only action we're gonna see until junglers
build out some HP while we're at it, right? That's what we're gonna do.
Might as well scale. They're both looking to scale, and like you said before, the Shen R is very good for making these big plays. So he can ult on a Jarvan offensively, and that's really what you want to see the difference between a good Shen and like a person who's just playing Shen because his team wants them to is if they use their ult offensively and proactively. You don't want to like see on the right hand side, oh, my teammate's 1 health, I'm going to click that button and not have vision or not be aware of what's actually going on. And Alex is using Gangplank's passive very efficiently here. So Gangplank's passive does like the burn. It's kind of like Brand passive, but not as strong.
And the new champion that's coming out, she has a burn now too.
Does she? Okay. Yeah, it's Nico. Maybe that's who they thought they were banning when they were. they look kind of the same, don't they? Just with deer legs. Yeah, time for GP to freeze. Yeah, so we see Shen actually getting bullied off, and
so got the early flash.
Yeah, that's a huge cooldown.
That was huge.
So Sedge actually did a very smart path here. They had vision of the red buff, so she does the red buff, and instead of like clearing the top side, she just kind of chills for a little bit and gets the gank off. And Jarvan kind of doing the same, pathing towards bot side, getting trade crabs here. And we were scared about the vertical jungling going Jarvan top side. It didn't end up happening, but it's been really standard, and these barrels have been very clean. I know a thing or two about a clean Gangplank. Gangplank's my for fun champion. It's not good, trust me.
You carry him, right?
No, I get carried. So seeing some nice Gangplank play here, I might have to get the notebook out and take some notes. But we see the repeat gank here. This is very good because Cog has no flash, and Sedge is just going to hit. And actually the TP from Gangplank coming in, Jarvan's kind of caught out and has to flash because he doesn't have the EQ. They could actually... Dragon's not going to spawn for another
40
seconds. So the TP
a little early.
It was used to guarantee the kill.
Yeah.
So Sedge picks up the kill. I would have liked to see it go onto the Lux just to really snowball. We saw how good that Lux was in the mid game last game, and it looks like Padawan might be like a Lux main. I'm not really sure, but he looks super good on it, and he's very. The thing is, he's very patient.
Yes.
He's not throwing like max range skill shots, hoping that they'll land, and then if they don't,
he's focusing on the farm with all that, and that's important.
Yeah, and in these trades, he like walks into a better range and waits for like them to use their cooldowns and then uses the skills. Where you see some Luxes be very impatient and just throw them out and then just kind of be more or less useless because they don't have any cooldowns. But he's very patient, and then he lands a lot more skill shots because of it. And we see
because it's not just used for like random harassing, like you said, you know. So
and we see River Shen coming in here. Maybe you were right. Yeah, Gangplank is going to get a freeze here. Shen is not going to have fun here because of where the wave is. He needs Jarvan to path up there to help him. This is kind of just what happened last game. Gangplank could really just chill here. I'm not sure if it's gonna push back. It might.
It is.
I think there's
red side's pushing back.
There's 2 minions, so it was a couple minions off from being like a perm or a good freeze. And with everyone bot side, and yeah, we see Sejuani is just all over the place.
The double stun.
Oh, but Nautilus answers back with the hook into the Sejuani route, and we just see a very nice.
See, I like this. That's why I said I like the Caitlyn pick a lot better.
Yeah,
just because she's able to get in the fights a lot more.
Yeah, and trap, and you can kind of change. Just like Bard changes the dimensions of the fight, she changes the dimensions of the fight, and it's a very nice pick, and Hampton's very good on the champion too. So the one thing is, I really like how Sejuani's playing this. She's usually kind of a farm. She is on the map. She's making plays, and she is really enforcing like her power. Even though she's not super strong until 6, she's still very tanky and can influence these lanes because. But we see Jarvan right as I was saying it, and Caitlyn actually did a really good job there. She didn't panic. She put the trap down.
Yes, but to prevent the Ezra and the Bard
to prevent the backline from coming because Jarvan isn't going to kill her by herself. And Bagu actually flashes forward, and he's still going. He
pulled him on the ult.
Pulled him out of the Lux ult. That's a feels bad, man.
But it was a communication error.
It was a good idea, but Caitlyn absolutely popping off right there. 2-kill lead, and he's going to come back with probably a BF sword and to this Ezreal's tier. A little unfortunate that the Nautilus hooked out of the Luxar, but you want to land the Nautilus hook, you want to land the Luxar. If Lux waits a second and not hooks, it guarantees it. So that's probably what he was thinking. But And like I said, they've only been playing together for a week or two, and I think he just missed the cannon. We didn't see it. I swear.
But that play down bot was good from THE.
And I like how patiently Caitlyn played it.
Yes.
Instead of panicking when the Jarvan got to her, she went and pushed traps, so Ezreal and Bard had to go around them, and then it gave her enough time to DPS down the Jarvan, and then just say, "Oh, we're going to turn this, and we're going to fight." So it was really well played, and we see the Shen just having not a good time in the HP trades, but he's keeping competitive with farm, and we see him pick up the Chain Vest here, GP picking up the Sheen. That's a really big power spike for the Gangplank. Because those Qs just keep hurting. Sure, Shen can block them, but the GP Q is on like a 5-second cooldown, so he just keeps pumping them out, and he's been timing it well with the grass sparks, which add on the damage. So, we see just and Bard going for the ult. I think if he lands that, they could portal, and they could have maybe killed her.
Maybe. I think because Caitlyn still had her net up, I believe. So.
Yeah, that is true. So she would have been able to dodge it, hopefully, unless some of those Bard angles are very hard to get out of, and like the hitbox sometimes is unforgiving, where like it looks like you're out of it, but like your toe is in there.
It's like a Thresh or Nautilus or a Blitzcrank hook.
Yeah,
it's just
Nautilus
like one
is
of those.
guilty of that. But it feels worse when it's like a big circle and you're like foot's in it, and it's like, oh, you're golden now. And Gangplank could look for a freeze here, but he's actually setting up barrels for the trades. He's up 12 CS now, and this is only going to balloon with this wave. He could look to freeze, and I wouldn't be surprised if he does. But the FN is moving over to Rift Herald, so
they might
be just okay giving it. One thing that they could do here is really push this bot lane advantage and try and get that tower.
Because Ezreal's by himself.
Yeah, Ezreal's by himself. Although he's safe, he probably won't die. They could push him off and really just get all these plates and really be just as efficient as getting the Herald themselves and get some tempo. Herald is very good at getting tempo in mid lane because mid lane is so important for opening up the map, especially when you have a global like the Shen. And we see Shen just fighting to break this freeze up top. And it's no fun. It is no fun when you have a top laner who's freezing on you and has a range advantage and has the jungler in the back packet. Yeah. So it's like, he can't.
And you're going to lose 2 levels because of it? Yeah. Oh, it's so bad.
And the thing is, it's not like he's misplaying this. It's just that Sejuani's playing around it. And we see Jarvan up here. And the one thing that you can do is try and get on the map. As Shen, you could get a proactive play in the bot lane, but I like what FN is doing to counter this. They're actually just bringing Jarvan up, break the freeze, and
bring it back even.
Yeah, and they're threatening the Rift Herald.
Yep.
Where if they keep the freeze there, they just drop the Rift Herald and just run and just give Shen all those plates and be like, okay, we're even. He is staying in experience range. He's only down. I think Alex just dinged 9, and Shen's been 8 for a while, so I'm sure he's close to the level. So he's not super behind, and we see him actually ulting bot lane, I believe, for the CS. He is going to try and carry this game, and I'm really excited to see how it's played because
I am too. Seeing when the Poppy wasn't too bad, but
he didn't have a lot of agency. No. You know, he was doing good in initiations, but the Bard was really just disrupting all those initiations.
That's where I feel like he was doing good, and he had some good decision making and everything, but there wasn't a follow up from his plays, like very good follow up. So for him to try to do this not on his own, but at least somewhat,
and just be a damage dealer where he can kind of have some more agency. Sure, he was able to say, "Oh, I'm going in," but then Bard was just saying, "Nope,
right, I'm out."
So, I never freeze. I bet you don't, Justin. Too big brain. I'm just kidding. Freezing is very hard to do because, and the thing about it is, and we're seeing the first Shen ult come through here.
Is that bot?
Yeah,
so they did get the Nautilus down there.
Yeah,
so missed that.
And they use it offensively, which is good. The thing about freezing is it is not something you can just blindly do.
No.
You have to do it in a situation where you're, that is no bueno. So Rift Herald getting dropped in the bot lane. Sejuani caught out, but Gangplank's getting plates.
Yeah, he's getting plates up there.
And I think this might be the Gangplank show. He's got a 2-level lead. He's getting a lot of gold. He gets a lot of gold from his passive. And THE got the first dragon, so they're not like super danger. If this was 2 dragons to
guess what?
FN.
Mountain Drake's back.
Oh, Mountain Drake's but we don't have as many super tanks.
That's true. But Mountain, yeah.
Yeah, Shen's going to get very tanky. Sedge is going to get tanky. Jarvan a little bit. And Nautilus, off tanks. But we don't have the Maokai Poppies, which are just like all armor and you can't kill them. So I do really like Mountain Soul because it's a very good objective to play around. It's just like Infernal Soul. Like, no one wants to deal with more damage.
No.
Everyone has enough damage nowadays. So Mountain Drake's like the inverse, where it's like not everyone has a lot of tank stats, but it makes like champions that usually aren't very tankier.
Right.
Which is, it feels good when you're playing AD carry and you're not one shot by every champion in the game when you have Mountain Drake. So
not too bad.
Yeah, and we saw the first use of the globals here. We saw Alex use it for CS and to like save the wave and just like not let it go to waste. Probably a cannon minion wave. And then we saw Bearsign use it on the offensive. Yeah. Sure, he gave up plates and he gave up some waves, but he got Ezreal and Bard ahead. And we saw how good Riskit used the lead last game. He popped off and he had like 14, 15 kills. Yep. So if he's able to get to that point, it doesn't matter how, like, if the top lane tower goes down. And we see a huge flash fight. EQ here by Jarvan, and Gangplank actually TPing in, and Sedge coming in, and he just used the flash. So, the Bard ult is absolutely
see that?
Awesome.
It's crazy.
He hit the 3-man Bard ult, and all those summoners that were used, all for nothing. And I didn't see it, but GP used his flash. I wonder if he tried to double barrel into the flash triple barrel. That would have been really spicy if I would have been seeing it.
Yeah, that would have been crazy.
Or maybe he tried to flash out of the Bard ult. But that's a big cooldown to go down. And this is just like last game. He used the TP bot after getting a huge CS lead. He was up like 50 CS.
Yeah.
But now Shen's happy. He's just chilling. He can hit minions all he wants and just go at it and try and catch up. He is building. He has 2 longswords in his inventory, so I think he's going to go for the T-Mat.
T-Mat? Okay.
And then after that, he's just going straight tank. Yep. He just wants to be able to push the wave so he can help his team.
Yep.
He's not going to be winning trades. He's not going to be doing anything like that. And he knows he's down Triforce to a Bombi Cinder.
Correct.
At this point, he's just playing for the team play. Oh, and we see Caitlyn flash in. I think that was a little bit of a flub there. I think if you're going to flash in as Caitlyn, you want to flash net so you get the slow.
That's what I was wondering too, yeah.
And then you get the headshot, and then you can get follow-up into it. But I think he just flash autoed. I don't know if it was a misinput or something, but very ambitious play there. And we see, and Gangplank's very strong here. I think he can survive this. We see a great oranges on the taunt. That was
good.
Pretty
he didn't
quick.
use it too early, like some people do it.
Some people panic, like when you face check into and Lux getting caught out. Bard on the roam here, and we see Jarvan running in. He's got the ult. He burns the flash and barrier of Lux, and that's what's so good about Jarvan. You have to respect the ult. If you're in the Cataclysm, you don't know what's coming, so it's better to just flash early, like he did. And this Kog'Maw is just scaling. Like we said, Gangplank scaling, Kog'Maw's going to be scaling.
Yeah.
And really want to see THE make a play or two here.
I think Nautilus is going a little too deep.
Yeah, Nautilus is going deep, but he has the stopwatch. He gets a big ult by
that positioning
Lux,
was nuts.
But Shen comes in with the ult, and we got a very messy team fight here. And Caitlyn's doing very good damage from deep, but Kog'Maw with the AP build, his ultimate is so good. And we see Gangplank is looking. He's fishing. He's like, all these guys are really low health, and I have barrels who do AoE.
He wants to kill. He wants 1 or 2 kills in there.
Yeah, and another thing I just thought of is the synergy with Sejuani and Gangplank, and how good it is to proc the passive, because every time Gangplank pops a barrel, he gets the movement speed buff, and he can keep layering on the auto attacks to chain stuns with Sejuani's passive. So that's a very interesting. It's not a usual partner for Sedge, but it's still very strong. Usually you see something like an Aurelia who can gap, or a Camille who can like gap close and initiate it, but Gangplank can do it just as well with the movement speed buff, and he's playing it very clean. And with the oranges, he can kind of skirt around these fights as long as he doesn't get in the Cataclysm.
Oh yeah, he's fine.
Yeah, he can really play around these fights, and he's up 50 CS. So 50 C up, and Nautilus is getting a little caught here.
See.
He's
got to watch himself. I think.
Yeah.
He's got to the unnecessary.
Getting a little vision. He did get the ward down, which is important, but you really want to ward as a team.
Yep.
You got to play vision as a or at least a couple man unit, especially when it's a contested thing. So giving a free dragon over isn't the end of the world because Gangplank he's the win con at this point. Sure, Caitlyn's very strong. She's got the Stormrazor, but I think Gangplank is going to have a really nice triple barrel in some of these team fights to win
those
the
hidden
team
barrels.
fights. Yeah,
that's just nuts.
Yeah, and he's very far ahead. We see the Tiamat coming down, so Shen's going to be able to push.
Be able to match.
Yeah, he can counter push, and Gangplank at this point he's not going to look to freeze or anything. No. He's going to look to push out and join his team.
Yep.
So Shen being able to answer it and then answer the roam is really good. Tiamat is a very good item on Shen, pretty much exclusively for tanks because he can benefit from the AD.
Yeah.
And an interesting build you can go if they have a lot of healing is if you pick up an Executioner's Calling with the Tiamat, it does apply. So it's kind of like an interesting way to get grievous wounds if you're playing a tank. And people don't think of it because it's unorthodox. But Tiamat on Shen is very strong, and he's going to be scaling just like the Maokai last game. He's going to get his items. He's going to be a frontliner. He can block auto attacks. So
he's got the shield even if he has to protect. Yeah. He's got all that he needs.
Yeah, he's still going to be relevant, but this Gangplank is just very scary. I'm scared to see a barrel hit one of these squishy carries. Because just think of a Sejuani ult onto a barrel. You can win a team fight right there. And that's why I really like the cleanse on the Kog'Maw. It really eliminates that to a point.
Risk,
To a point.
It lessens the risk.
Yeah, it lessens the risk, and it gives you a little wiggle room to play. Because we did talk about how close these 5v5s are and how every micro play and how good your micro is very important when you're playing these 5v5 comps. And having cleanse just gives you a little bit more room for error.
And the nice thing to see is that the gold differential isn't huge anymore.
No.
It wasn't before.
Yeah.
So it's only down 1,000.
Yeah, THE's actually having the lead here.
Yeah.
And that's mostly because of the Gangplank passive. And we see Bard using it to block the charge, which is very, very good use. And that's just another reason why Bard is so good.
Yes.
They don't lose the mid tower here, and they can just keep the tempo up. And we see Shen. He's on the split here, unanswered, catching up in CS. And he does have ultimate if they need him. So he's chilling.
Just chilling.
He's pushing.
They get mid tower
They
finally.
do get the mid tower, but and we see the Caitlyn ult get blocked by the Jarvan. So Shen
they got what
is
they
happy.
needed.
Yeah, they got what they needed. It wasn't as fast because they didn't have the Rift Herald. If the Rift Herald knocks that down, they could answer Shen. And
Shen would have been in a different position.
Yeah, but with the Bard being able to neutralize that, he's safe to push.
This Bard though is crazy though.
He's playing very good.
He's playing very good. I haven't they didn't play Bard the last couple games.
No,
seeing Bard come out.
Yeah,
man.
I think this is one of the first Bard picks we've seen, and we've been seeing it pop up in competitive and pro play. But seeing it played at this level is very impressive.
Cool.
It's very nice to see, and it's a flashy support. You do have the Threshes, the Blitzcrank who have the hooks, but having a support like Bard that isn't a hook champion, he doesn't rely on flash and making these super plays like this, but he can get on the roam, he can portal, he can play kind of risky, and and does a lot of damage for a support with electrocute. He does the deeps, so
he's it's just so good.
Yeah,
I think that's what I'm really amazed about this game is honestly the support difference in how each of them is playing, because I haven't seen Nautilus really pick out anybody yet.
Yeah,
and that's what he's usually good for, is to pick out someone so that they can kill someone.
Yeah, and in the first game we saw him land a bunch of those early hooks, and he really gave Kai'Sa the opportunity to kill, but just a little short on damage. Whereas this game, and I think Bard probably played safer in lane.
No, he played a lot safer.
He probably didn't fish for those hooks because there was the risk of the Caitlyn popping him. So we see the Muramana finish here for Ezreal, and this is the point in the game where Fire Nation is actually going to be a little bit stronger because Ezreal is hitting that mid-game spike, even though he missed the caddy. He's hitting that mid-game spike, and I'm interested to see if he goes for the Death Stance here again. Or is he going to...
think so?
I don't think he goes at this game because Lux isn't crazy fed.
True.
The Iceborne Gauntlet's actually going to be more beneficial for the armor.
He went for the Iceborne.
He goes for the Iceborne Gauntlet. Yep. Has very smart item builds and
Shen went down.
Yeah, so Shen goes down to the Caitlyn. I didn't see how it happened, but this Gangplank is very, very fed. He's got 2 very expensive items already, and he is going to hurt. But I really like Risket's... Oh my!
That hurt. Did you see that?
That was a fast barrel combo. My hands don't move that fast.
I was like, "Whoa! Can I do that?"
I think that was a third barrel. You hit the first one and then you put the third one, and it's not easy to do. I tell you. And this is the great thing about Caitlyn here. She can trap off these, and now someone's gonna have to, or they're gonna have to Bard portal into a.
Yes.
And if they lay the Bard portal down, Gangplank puts a barrel, and he's like, I can't wait for you to come. So Shen flanks.
Teleport?
Yeah, teleport flanks, gets on the back line, but Nautilus is buying so much time, and he's living. That was so well played by Nautilus. Yep. He goes in, and he pops the Gargoyle Stoy Plate, and he's like, you guys have to deal with me until he does go down here, but he did such a good... and actually, this is a wild team fight. Gangplank goes down to the Kog'Maw, and Kog'Maw's popping off. Jarvan picks up the kill on Caitlyn, and
the Bard got the stun. That's what stopped the Caitlyn.
Bard
got the stun off the Jarvan ult.
Wow, that's a good combo. I didn't even think about that. So
because the Caitlyn almost had that.
Yeah, if Caitlyn gets a few autos off, and she probably wins that team fight. But
that
she
was such a good play, though.
Yeah, and we saw the power of AP Kog'Maw there. He was just raining down his ultimate, and he was just doing so much damage to those low target opponents. He was just executing them. So. Yeah, that team fight was all over the place. I didn't know who was winning it until the end.
Yeah, but that Shen made the difference. That teleport to the bot.
Yeah. So Shen got to the back line. That came out of nowhere. And Nautilus got to the back line. Nautilus did a good job CCing them, but once he hooked in and rooted them. But then after that, he was just kind of like stuck there where Shen could block the autos. Nautilus played that beautifully, though. And once he was in, you kind of go, you don't really have a place to go. You go down, but he did a really good job taking it. But Shen, and he's not even that tanky. That's why I'm surprised he didn't go down in that team fight. It was very well played, and I think he really used the dodge zone efficiently to dodge a couple of Caitlyn. I think he dodged a headshot with it, and then he was able to tank, and he actually went for the Titanic Hydra, which is really interesting when you're down 60 CS going for
Wouldn't you go... Wouldn't you build up the stair? Not the stair, because forgot the fist that he has.
Jerem's fist builds into it. I know what you're talking about. I don't know. Twitch chat, help us out. Or just tank in general. And we see another huge Bard ult here. He's hitting 4 members, and Nautilus doing a great job again. He's taking the whole backline.
He's doing what he has to, but that's just...
But there's no answering damage. And the Gangplank barrel right onto Ezreal. And he lands it. But we see this backline, and Shen is just an absolute beast back here. Shen and Jarvan are in the backline. And interesting to see if Gangplank can win this here. He has to flash out because this Kog'Maw is doing the damage. It's doing
way too much damage.
Yeah, these team fights are so close. It's Steric's Gauge.
Steric's Gauge.
That's what it is.
Okay.
But yeah, these team fights, and we do see the Deadmans on the Bard, which I really like. So Gangplank is doing the deeps, but he only can barrel chain like every once in a while. You can't constant 3 barrel, and that's the thing that makes Gangplank so hard is you get your 3 barrels, and then it's like, I think at this point he probably has it max.
Yep.
It's like 8 seconds until you get another 3 barrels. So you get one every like 3 seconds or so. So you get one big chain, and then you kind of have to hang around the team fight and land autos. But you really have to weave in and out of these team fights and try to land the barrels, because if you miss a barrel chain, you're really out of the fight for a long time. Whereas he landed the big barrel on Ezreal, and then he got the kill.
Yep.
But Jarvan and Shen are just in the background, just causing straight havoc. So we kind of have Nautilus going into the backline of FN and causing havoc, and those two going in the backline. I think
that's where the hardest, because they have to figure out now, are we peeling or are we disrupting the backline? Yeah. Which one are we doing? Because that's what happened. The Jarvan and the Shen collapsed on the Caitlyn.
They took Caitlyn and Lux out of the fight.
Right. They took them totally, because then it was just, Sejuani trying to peel for both of them, and she can only do so much with what she has.
Yeah, and I don't think either of them fell, but they weren't able to do the damage. Right. And that was the big thing, whereas like both front lines were absent.
Yep.
I do think it would be better to peel at this point, unless someone's caught out.
Correct.
I think if THE play like a retreating disengage and make Fire Nation run through Gangplank barrels,
right.
I think that is better, but you can't always force them to fight you. And we've seen FN be super patient. They're not forcing the fight unless there's an objective or they have an advantage.
Right.
They played very, very good where they don't take unnecessary fights.
They don't. They've been playing their fights really smart.
Yeah, so playing that way doesn't work if they don't if they don't rush in. And we see the last Whisper coming in on Gangplank. I really like this pickup. A lot of times people just keep stacking damage, but with it being
I usually would see an Infinity Edge right now.
But Mountain Drag, you gotta remember. So
Mountain Drag's huge.
And with Ezreal picking up the Iceborne Gauntlets, and Nautilus gets a little caught out, but he's all right. He's tanky enough with the gargoyle. I mean, he didn't even pop gargoyles, but the Gangplank R has come out. I think the Gangplank R has to go on the Kog'Maw. This Kog'Maw is doing low-key tons of damage in these fights. And you don't really tell because he like is raining down, but I think he's been hitting the backline from such a safe distance where Caitlyn can kind of do the same thing.
Yeah.
And we see some really nice barrel chains here by Alex. He's really showing he's comfortable on this Gangplank, and that's a scary thing to see. Yeah, like Shinobi saying not ult plus GP ult would do it.
But then they still have to reach the backline.
Yeah, but you got to get through this front line, and that's the problem. Shen is a problem.
They have to go
and we see a great Bard stun. But Caitlyn deleted Bard. I didn't even see how he died, but Nautilus is in the back here, and we see Shen coming in on Kog. I think FN has realized that Kog'Maw is their win con here. It's kind of like the Cog versus GP carry here, but Caitlyn is doing the deeps. One more item, and she gets to that point where she's very scary. And here they are running into Gangplank, and that is not something you want to do. Gangplank can pour out the damage if you're walking into his barrels. So, but Kog'Maw's full health and a nice
but this Shen is so
taunt
tanky,
flash there by Bearson. Young Rezi would be really proud right there. He flash taunted, and he hit like a 3-man taunt. And that pretty much won the team fight for them there, because they were 1-for-1 before that, and then that taunt flash just absolutely turned the tide. And now jungler's down, 80 carries down. Well, it's Baron time.
It's Baron.
Yeah, and we're 30 minutes in, and the Dragons is and that was Soul. I didn't even realize that was the fourth.
Yeah,
Dragon,
that's why that fight had to happen.
Yeah.
So that because I thought when I saw the Caitlyn like pop up, I thought Caitlyn got the Soul, but she got the kill on the Bard.
Yeah, look at is Gangplank in a 1v9. Hey, this is his time to shine. He's got to come in here and 1v9 this. And the portal was perfect. I think if they stay around and try and do that, Baron, Gangplank kills them all because they have the debuff from Baron. He could have easily wiped them all, and that would have gave him a chance. That would have gave him until the end of Baron to have a chance to balloon this gold lead. And
so now they have to play. They have to play those objectives real smart now, and that's the hardest part.
Yeah, and the thing I really like about Elder Dragon is so FN has the 4 dragons, right?
Yeah.
They're much stronger in combat stats, but if THE find the right fight around Elder Dragon, it is much more valuable than the 4 dragons before.
For sure.
So it gives the team that has the dragons an advantage in a fight, but if the losing team can find the right fight and find the right avenue to get those plays, they can still win the game. And that's what I really like, whereas before it was multiplicative by your dragon count. So it was kind of like a win more. Right. Whereas now it is a win more, but it gives equal stats.
It does.
So the losing team still has an avenue of winning. And I really enjoy that change, and that was one of the really nice changes they made with the Dragon Souls. But this shield is going to really help FN.
It's going to help FN a lot more.
And just like last game, Lux has a really difficult time getting through resistances.
Yes.
He's working on the Void Staff.
Looks like it.
I would
He's
assume.
going to have to.
Yeah, he has to at this point.
The Zonias right now, it's not going to do enough damage.
And he's 305. He's having a really great game.
Right.
But through triple Mountain Drag and Soul, it's just so difficult.
Yeah.
They have the extra shield. They have extra resistances. It's just a big, hard time, and it sucks that for the Lux pick is so good, but Mountain Dragon is really good into it. So it's a 25% chance. And he actually cancels the net with that ult.
Yeah.
So once the ult hits, the net's still on cooldown. And that's just, it's probably going to be Baron. But up until that point, the gold was exactly even. This game is still very, very close. But Mountain Soul is very, very hard to play around. And so...
But let's say this. It happened again. Like, the Bard...
I thought the Arcane Comment was going to steal that. I had my hopes.
The Bard made a big difference this game.
Yeah, Bard
especially the first all on the 3-player?
The gank.
Yeah,
he
the
hit
gank.
Gangplank and all of them. Yeah, that saved 2 kills and Dragon. If that ult doesn't hit all 3, they don't get the Dragon.
And then the Bard on the tower, their mid tower should have been gone long time ago.
Yeah,
but then that stalled that.
Bard is very good.
Those Bard plays were crazy.
If you play support, play Bard. He is very good. That was...
Yeah, people may not he may seem like a weak, but he's so strong with what he does.
This is a great example of why he's so good.
Yep.
He can take over games. Usually people say, oh, support can't carry, but I think Super Thig is showing he can take over and really change these team fights in their favor. So THE really looking for a pick, and they're just really looking to survive until Elder Dragon, and they have to fight that.
I agree. I think Elder, if they could get an Elder Drake, that changes the game. That stalls the game even longer.
Yeah, and their base is still intact. So it's not like they're bleeding and they're going to have to have supers coming in to fight for this Elder Dragon. It's up in a minute, so I don't think the base is even going to be broken. So we're going to see a 5v5. Sure, they're down 3k and the Dragon Soul, but I think a really good barrel chain into a really clean... They're going to have to play the team fight pretty much perfect with this gold victim, but it's not a unwinnable team fight. Or a Lux steal. You see some crazy stuff, and Lux has the Void Staff. That's a huge pickup for this fight. If Nautilus is able to get to the backline like he has been, they were just a little short on damage, but I think with the Void Staff pickup and the rapid fire cannon on the Caitlyn, I think they can get it. And Alex just bought an IE pretty much straight up, so he is very strong. We see why Caitlyn is so good. Oh, and Bard throwing the ult down.
On the Nautilus.
So it's not going to be up for the Elder Dragon fight. That's a huge thing to keep. Yeah, and that's been really helping them in these team fights. And we see Shen on the split.
They're looking for the pick, but
Yeah, so Shen has TP and ultimate here, so he's safe to kind of push up. And Fire Nation could honestly just hold this stalemate right here. I think they can stalemate in a 4v5 and call in Shen if they need it. But if they just stand here and don't start it, Shen is going to just take the game. So they're going to start it, but they could honestly. But you see THE.
Are they going to let it go? If they can't let this go.
Oh, I think they thought kind of what I was saying, that they weren't going to fight it. They were just going to let it play the Dragon Dance and let Shen split. But they just said, we're starting it once you backed off. So, and Sedge is looking to get in here. And are we going to see a Lux steal?
No, they're stalling the...
Blue team got the Elder. Shen comes in. And I think that's going to be all she wrote. But this was another really close game. And and Bard even finishing him off. And, this is why Elder's pretty cool once it comes down.
You see, they should have forced... No, we'll get that later. We'll get to that later. I have my thoughts.
Okay.
There.
Yeah, that was a tough situation.
That was a tough decision. I would have to say that was a really hard decision.
Shen pushing. And if FN doesn't start it and just say, okay, we're just going to sit here, Shen just literally wins the game. So.
But GP had teleport. That's right. I was looking, and GP had teleport.
But I think GP has to be there. He's 4-item GP. He can't not be with the team because they just get ran over without him.
That's true. Because
Shen has TP and ult.
Yeah.
So he's got 2 globals. It was, they kind of second guess themselves. Yeah, I think they should have just committed.
Yeah.
Went for maybe the 50-50.
That's
called in Shen on the ultimate and see if you could win it.
Yeah,
they were
win
behind,
for FN,
but
win for Fire Nation. Really good plays.
Yeah, they
really did well.
Clean, but they were definitely pushed.
They were pushed. This is the first game and the 2 games I've seen them play that have been really pushed to their limit.
Yeah.
Not limit, but like to where they really had to
adapt.
They had to adapt to the gameplay.
And we saw Bard really adapt too.
Yeah.
And I think the Bard pick was crazy. I was calling for the Bard ban for the game too, and I really think Bard is just very strong in the meta right now. And he's really good into a lot of the meta support. So we saw Super Thing play very, very clean.
Well.
And really show, I don't think he'll get barred in the next couple of weeks.
I don't think so either.
If anyone watching this week, because holy man, unless he gets nerfed, that was very clean Bard play.
But I think the changes that THE made to the 2 lanes really brought them back from what they used to be.
Yeah, well, and we saw them before be very lane focused.
Yes.
And even with the drafts, you could tell.
Yeah.
We were seeing Quinn before and a lot of split push, kind of like taking 1v1s and trying to out-skill. And they were winning lanes and they were winning the matchups, but
once they bring the team together.
Yeah, once they got to like 25 minutes and they might have had a 3K gold lead, but the team play was very clean today. And I mean, if you have a very high solo queue, at Master, Grandmaster tier, you know the map and you know macro very well. So maybe they're leaning on him, and he's kind of supplementing that.
Right.
Alex and they looked very good.
They did.
I think with a couple weeks and a couple more practices, they'll be able to close out the rest of the split. But sadly, with the 0-2, they are going to be eliminated from the playoffs. So and Fire Nation still hasn't dropped the game, so I'm interested to see who dethrones them and takes a game from them.
I like to see that too.
Cloud9 dropped the game today. Fire Nation didn't, so I guess Fire Nation's better than Cloud9, eh? But those team fights were very close, and
I think that last play though was my thought on the last play. Like I said, I was holding off. I agree. They should have just taken the 50-50. Mm-hmm. They should have just done it.
Yeah, should have just taken the fight. They were going to fight no matter what.
Yeah, they're going to fight no matter what.
And you saw them kind of make a move towards mid lane to try and get the mid inhib. And I don't dislike that play. Only if you have vision. But I don't think
they didn't have vision.
They didn't have vision.
So that's why you don't make that decision. If you don't have vision, you don't make that decision.
So the pit was dark. There was 4 people there. Shen was in top lane, and I guess what could have happened is if they just commit to the mid lane and they just go for a base race, that could have been a play.
Yeah, but they were, but
then they kind of second guessed and they came back.
The Elder Drake was going down fast though.
Yeah, because Kog'Maw, AP Kog'Maw, I would like to see the damage charts in that game and see how. And he does like a surprisingly amount of damage. Like he isn't like one-shotting you, but he's landing those.
It's consistent
his E's
damage
and his alts, and it's consistent. It's just like 80 carry.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like an Azir, but a little more. Not as like flashy.
Yeah, like you said, maybe they should have fully committed the mid, get the inhib, play it out
that's
even. And
looking at it with not playing, and I'm sitting here. When you're playing, it's you have so many pressure points, and you have to make a decision, and it's gotta.
And they were, like you said, and even chat said, like they were second guessing, make something, do something.
Yeah, and it's easy to say, but it's
hard to do.
It's hard to do, especially when there's so many. And
we're not
behind.
in game, so we don't know what that mindset looks like.
So, in hindsight, it's always going to look better, but when you're behind, you're trying to make a play.
Yeah.
So, those were very close games, and
there won't be any more matches tonight, but tune in next week Sunday. For sure.
At tentatively 2 p.m. We'll try and get some posts out there, and if you would like, you can always follow the channel and then see when we're going live. We'll have Fire Nation coming back next week versus Party of the Challenger, so I'm really excited to see. This is going to be
another good game right there, too.
Yeah, so a lot more practices and stuff like that, and not that I'm hoping to see FN lose. Don't get me wrong, but I want to see someone take them on and really push them like they were pushed today.
THE,
Yeah, THE pushed them very hard.
No offense to THE, yes, I had my doubts coming into this against FN, but man, you guys surprised me.
Yeah,
THE, you guys surprised me, especially with the 2 changes that really helped you guys. That surprised me big time against FN. It really did.
Yeah, interesting to see if they had 2 more weeks of practice.
I know,
maybe they
right?
Taken those games.
Yeah. But Fire Nation, you guys did really well adjusting, held up your own end of your play style.
Yeah.
Man, did very well. The the same team I saw the last 2 times, and this was you guys did very well holding to your game.
The one thing I would be really interested to hear is I want to hear Fire Nation's comms, because I think their team play is so clean, and the way they adjusted, and like we saw Shen hit the flanks and take the back line, and then they started winning fights. Like, those mid-game adjustments are so hard to do, and I wonder if they're talking through this, or if it's just kind of like individual plays. I would be interested to see, or even just hear, if any of them are in Twitch chat, if that's if they're talking about that actively, like, and that's just something I think about, like, are they making these adjustments in game, or if we
can only do those LCS and LEC
right,
mic
we
checks.
come in there,
That'd be cool.
and we hear right here, comms are full fiesta, lots of screeching. So I guess it's a little bit more individual play, but hey, it still worked very well. Hey, it worked
they
out.
Still played well.
You can just say, yeah, we're super clean. But I think that's going to be it for us. We have Fire Nation versus Party the Challenger next week, 2 p.m.
Tune in.
Follow, subscribe, so you can know when we go live. Since it's kind of been all over the place, we're going to try and figure it out, kind of get a little more rigid. But
it's great to be back, though. It really is.
Yep. It was great to be back. 2 weeks off. My voice is coming through strong. I was a little nervous. But we'll have the little screen at the end for any questions and who to contact and that stuff. So thank you guys.
Thanks. Have a
See
good
you
night.
next week.
See you guys.